This is the Buzz Adams Morning Show podcast. Barstool Talk Daily. Except it's really early in the morning and no booze. For the most part.
So wake up your neighbors, wake up your brothers and your sisters and your mothers, wake up! Wake up, 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 get up! Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, get up! Wake up, wake up, wake up, now! Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up now! Time to wake up now!
From the KLAQ studios in beautiful sunny El Paso, Texas.
Yeah, baby!
The Buzz Adams Morning Show is back.
Man, is this gonna rock or what?
And good morning and welcome to the show here for Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. Woo! Nico's here. Woo! Nico's here. He's wearing like a bearskin coat or something. Oh, it's just a blanket?
No, I killed a bear.
You
for
cold?
His hide. Yep. Very cold. It's chilly in here.
You look like the Revenant all wrapped up like that. Did you ever see that movie?
That movie where a bear F's Leonardo DiCaprio.
You're right. I mean, it was an over 2-hour movie, and that bear raping Leonardo DiCaprio scene only lasted like 20 seconds.
And yet that's the one that stays with me.
And he won an Academy Award. Not the bear, Leo. Good morning, Joanna Barba.
Good morning.
We have a lot to get to today. The first thing I want to do is tell you that the Amigo Air Show is coming back.
Woo!
And we're going to have that as prizes ahead of the Amigo Air Show, including this Friday at Circle K. KLAQ is going to be out there. Let's see. It's going to be Joanna. You're going to be at Circle K 2301 Joe Battle tomorrow from 5 to 7.
I
and
will.
While you're there, you could sign up, win some Amigo Air Show tickets, courtesy of Dos Equis. The Amigo Air Show returns to El Paso October 12th and 13th at the prestigious and historic Biggs Army Airfield on Fort Bliss. I'm anxious to see. It's been a few years since we had the Amigo Air Show, and they're bringing it back. I wonder if it's going to be like as big as it was when they used to have it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger, maybe. Come out. The Amigo Air Show is more than an air show. It's part of our heritage and culture here in El Paso. So Joanna's going to have tickets for that. That again is Friday, 5 to 7, Circle K at 2301 Joe Battle. That I might do that one for my next in my series of how the streets of El Paso got their names.
Joe Battle?
Yeah, who's Joe Battle? You have any idea?
It's no, it's not. Oh,
Was there a battle?
Exactly. It's not the name of a person. It's the historical record of the Great Battle of Joe.
Of Joe.
In 1872.
Hey, I kept saying the past couple of weeks, a few politicians, a few of our listeners were out there swearing up and down that migrants were eating cats and dogs in Ohio. And I told you, I kept waking up thinking, all right, well, they're going to find a smoking gun. It must have happened once. They couldn't have just made this up out of whole cloth, right? Well, we found where the rumors originated. And it involves a cat named Miss Sassy.
Miss Sassy!
First of all, great name.
Yes. She is an icon.
So the long and the short of it here, have you heard this?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. What happened? A woman, they did find a police report. A woman had called Springfield, Ohio police and said that her cat, Miss Sassy, was missing.
Didn't the cat show up, though?
She told the police, I think it was these Haitian neighbors of mine. Well, the same woman, I don't have her name in front of me, but they do have her name, says, Miss Sassy turned up later in the basement.
She was in the basement
She was
the
in the
whole time.
basement the whole time. And the woman says she apologized
She's like,
to her
"I'm
Haitian
so
neighbor.
sorry."
She kind of owes an apology to every Haitian
Well,
immigrant.
I think when they interviewed her, she was wearing a Trump hat
was.
and a Trump T-shirt.
Absolutely true. She was wearing a Trump hat and a T-shirt and apologizing for spreading the cats and dogs being eaten in Springfield rumor.
Miss Sassy was just in the basement the whole time.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
cool.
as a cat owner, you should know if you can't find your cat, just wait.
Or Haitians probably ate it.
Right. Well, half dozen of one, 6 of the other. Who knows? Joanna's going to have the Hollywood Cheesemate coming up for us in
The cheese.
just about an hour. So what's in the Cheesemate today, Joanna?
Eric Roberts.
We're going to interview Eric Roberts in a couple of weeks.
are. Yeah. So when I saw this story, I got excited.
National treasure.
He is apologizing to his sister, Julia Roberts.
You know,
Why?
I have
I did not
always
know that they were this estranged.
Yes.
And I did not know the reason why.
that's one thing I've always wondered. I'm not sure I would bring it up with Eric Roberts, but since he's talking about it, he and Julia Roberts, he's the older brother. Okay, they have some kind of beef that goes back
I didn't even
decades.
know.
Do we know
A
the answer to this?
complicated relation. Yes, we do. I will give you all the deets
I have
in
to
the
know.
entertainment news.
I have to know this.
Well, and
I've got to stick around for entertainment
don't
news.
leave
Yeah.
early. We also have Rob Ortiz, who's the drummer for Escape the Fate. Escape the Fate is performing this Saturday at
Yeah.
Speaking Rock. And listen to this. A couple of interesting facts for you. Rob, from El Paso, is a Tigua Indian
Oh,
and the only
right.
remaining founding member of Escape the Fate.
oh, wow.
Right. So Escape the Fate, I think, got together in 2004. He was one of the founding members, and now after all these years, Rob Ortiz of El Paso, specifically from the Tigua tribe, is the only remaining original member, and he's going to talk to us later this
You're saying
morning.
he could not escape the fate.
Yeah, he was the only one who could not escape the fate of being in.
Escape the
Escape
fate.
the fate. You guys want to get a look at the weather just to see if anything's changed?
I mean, I could
since
tell you what's
yesterday.
in news if you want me to.
Oh, all right. Well, hold on a second. I've got the weather here.
Okay.
It's the Golfers Forecast brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. So we still have that chance of rain. We've been talking about this all week, but it's only a 15-20% chance of rain. That's not until Friday, tomorrow afternoon. Today, though, is going to be sunny. High temperature is going to get up to 97. Was anybody else cold enough to turn like the little bit of the heat on in the car this morning?
The heat.
Yes, it was cold. No?
Colder in here than I am outside.
It's cold in here, yeah.
For tomorrow, partly cloudy. We are going to keep that 15-20% chance of afternoon rain in the forecast, and 97 for the high tomorrow. For Saturday, partly cloudy, looks clear. 94 for the high temperature on Saturday. Sunny, 89 on Sunday.
Oh.
So really good-looking weekend to get out and do outdoor activity. And if that includes golf, then the Golfers Forecast is for you. It's brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. Set up your tee times and reservations online at painteddunes.com. That's painteddunes.com. Or call the Pro Shop. Their number is 915-821-2122 for Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. We played a little phone tag yesterday, didn't we, Nico?
A little.
Yeah. I tried to call you.
I tried to call
You tried
you.
to call me. I tried to call you. And that's what it's all about. Phone tag.
Why did I hear that you were bullying my good friend, comedian, and conservative commentator, Kat Tim?
I was not. I was asking her a
Oh, my
question that she
God.
didn't want to answer. You know who she posed for a picture with last night, right?
Adam Hunter?
No, Donald Trump was on Gutfeld last night.
So was Adam Hunter.
Was he? Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't see him in the picture. They might have asked him to step aside, so it was just the host. It was Gutfeld, Tyrus. I don't know if you know who that is. That's a guy that used to be a wrestler. Now he's a Fox News commentator.
I mean, they have Adam Hunter. Comedian Adam
they
Hunter.
have Adam, and they have Kat Timpf, and they had Donald Trump on the panel last night. And,
Yeah. He really needs the exposure right now.
yeah, I guess so.
So, what did you ask that she didn't answer?
Well, you got to remember, there was an interview, so it was getting to this point, and she brought up, like, you can't think half the country is racist because they support Donald Trump. I said, I don't think half the country is racist. I think some of them are, but I think some of them are uncomfortably comfortable with racism. I mean, at this point, so the topic of saying that immigrants are eating cats and dogs just seems like a slur to me.
Well, at this point,
and
yeah.
she goes, so anyway, I was trying to just get her to say, yeah, that was pretty damn racist.
And she wouldn't.
No, why would you not? I mean, she's supposed to be like the libertarian, so not really the conservative on Fox News. But I thought it was fair line
Nico.
of questioning. I never raised my voice.
Buzz had to have a meeting.
We did. Okay, so the meeting
the
was
guy
off, the
who
meeting
does the
the meeting
interviews.
was off the record, so I don't want to say who I talked to or exactly what was said. But at some point, he made the point that when they book guests, which is who I'm talking about, our intermediary that books guests, when we book guests, we need to be able to assure them that we have a safe place for them to be interviewed in. And at some point in that conversation, I said, I think it's kind of risible that a lady who works with Sean Hannity, Greg Gutfeld,
Needs a safe
needs
space.
a goddamn safe space. All right.
Well, I'm sad I missed it.
Can you tell me about the interview we have coming up today? What time it is?
With
The author who's written the book about constitutional sheriffs in America.
oh, that's right. That will be at 7:30.
7:30 this morning.
Yes.
Can you give us some details about it? The book talks about the concept of constitutional
I
sheriff.
didn't really read
You didn't read the...
the preview of the book. I've just been dealing with the booker.
Okay. You've just been too busy setting it up. There's this thing called constitutional sheriff, and it's kind of like citizens claiming to be sovereign citizens. It's based on this arcane middle-aged law, that had the sheriff of the shire as the highest authority in the land. And these constitutional sheriffs think, I can decide what's constitutional, what's not constitutional. If you watch the most recent season of Fargo, that was a big plot point. John Hamm played this constitutional sheriff who is basically crooked,
Right.
super crooked. All right, Nico, what's coming up in the news today?
There's a lot coming up in the news today. We have more information about those exploding pagers out of Lebanon.
I gotta call this out right now. We stop doing that. I don't want to live in a world where our appliances are going to be weaponized against us. I don't want to find out that somehow China got into my toaster and it's going to blow up the next time I make a slice of toast.
God, the toaster scares me already every time the toast pops
What
out.
blew up this time? Was it still
That's
pagers?
the same one. Yeah, same
Same-
pagers, but just another.
God, you would think after it happened on
the day before.
the day before, everybody in that country would have thrown their pagers out.
Right.
Yeah, so the United States says the U.S. wasn't involved, but U.S. intelligence believes it was the Israelis, specifically the IDF, working with Mossad, that somehow intercepted these pagers and weaponized them to explode. Unfortunately, not every explosion got a Hezbollah member. It sometimes got an innocent bystander, too. So.
It did. So there was collateral. But, Israeli forces would say that's just collateral damage in their attempt to kill Hamas leadership or Hezbollah leadership.
It's getting hard to justify morally at this point. I mean, how would you feel if, a dozen or 24 Americans died because some other country had rigged up their cell phone to blow up in their hand, blow their head off?
I guess we could just put ourselves in that position. If we were trying to kill Osama bin Laden with the same means, but we ended up killing a bunch of children or other things like that, I think we would have a lot to answer for.
We would have a lot to answer for. There would probably be an apology forthcoming from the U.S. government if they weren't able to completely cover it up, that is.
Right.
It might take a whistleblower like Edward Snowden to get it to come forward. But yeah, I got to tell you, not comfortable with this story at all, because what's going to happen when we weaponize all of our handheld devices and all of the tech? And, same goes for AI. If somebody can weaponize a pager, somebody's going to weaponize AI, and that's just a slippery slope, man.
Yep, so we've got more details on that. The West Wing will be having a reunion this Friday for the 25th anniversary of the show, and guess where it's happening?
The West Wing?
The West Wing of the White House.
All right, okay. I know you're a big fan.
I'm in the middle of rewatching it right now.
All right, we've got Today in Sound Clips coming up, some activity from the Federal Reserve yesterday, and a lowering of interest rates, so we'll talk about that. But then we also have some interesting stories to talk about. So we're going to have Today in Sound Clips on the way in just a few minutes.
The Daily Calendar. Today is September 19th. It is Cat DNA Day, celebrating the world's oldest pets. If you need some cat DNA, there's probably some in that fur ball. Also, it's Butterscotch Pudding Day. There might be some cat fur in there. Not only is it Talk Like a Pirate Day, it's also Meow Like a Pirate Day. No, I know. And it's Pawpaw Day. Nope, this one's not about cats. It's some tropical fruit that's a cross between a banana and mango. Why don't you just go feed some to your pirate cat?
And that's your daily calendar.
Real quick.
Corrections and retractions.
Yesterday it was walkie-talkies that blew up. So the first day in Lebanon it was pagers. On the yesterday it was walkie-talkies that had blown up. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with Today in Sound Clips on the way right after this.
Artist interviews, new music discoveries, celebrating artists' birthdays, commemorating releases, champion of all things rock.
And Star Sports Amigo buy to pick up your Yingling flight for the weekend, and you could win tickets to the air show.
El Paso's own live and local, The Buzz Adams Morning Show, 95.5 KLAQ.
Coming up on the show today, Rob Ortiz, the drummer for and only remaining original member of the band Escape the Fate, is going to join us. And he's from El Paso. Escape the Fate is playing at Speaking Rock this Saturday. It's one of their free shows, but you must be 21 or older to attend. Doors and gates open at 6 o'clock this Saturday at Speaking Rock for Escape the Fate. Also, Jessica Pishko has written a book called The Highest Law in the Land, How the Unchecked Power of... I can't read that, it's too small. It's all about constitutional sheriffs, the highest law in the land. So we're going to have that interview coming up a little bit later this morning. And it is time for us to do Today in Sound Clips.
And now, Today in Sound Clips.
All right.
You know what I was just watching yesterday? I was wondering if we could do any more. Was Hot Wings Challenge, the one that they have celebrities on, and they have Sean Evans interview them. Could you eat anything spicy anymore?
No. I mean, Old El Paso picante sauce is almost too spicy. That's about as spicy as I can go.
I was just thinking...
It just does murder on my innards.
It was just like 3 years ago we were doing the Death Nut Challenge.
Yeah.
And now, dude, I can't have anything.
You with your hernia, Buzz with his weak tongue.
I know, with his weak tongue.
I mean, you're right. I don't like eating something that's so bad it makes my tongue feel like it's on fire. That's just not. That's not pleasant.
No.
I don't know why people like that.
Just the heartburn, and then I think it's poison, and we're just like celebrating a culture of people poisoning themselves. Anyways,
there are real hot sauce snobs. They have some of these hot sauce conventions.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people take it very seriously.
It looks like fun, but we can't do it anymore.
Got a story here about the Federal Reserve, so please don't tune out. This will only take a second.
Yeah, they cut it by 50 basis points.
Woo! 50? What kind of points?
50 base points.
50 base points, baby. Woo! J Pal in the hizzy.
Yeah.
All right. That's trying to make it sound cool, right?
Well, your mortgage rates might go down. I mean, 6% right now, interest rates.
As some were expecting, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell announced yesterday afternoon the Fed was reducing its key interest rate by 0.5 percentage point. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but with the drop, the federal funds rate will move to around 4.8%, the lowest it's been since March of 2023. Here is Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell announcing yesterday afternoon that the Fed was reducing the interest rates.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to reduce the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by a 0.5 percentage point.
The Fed also said yesterday that it expects more interest rate cuts at its last two meetings of the year. In November and December, mortgage rates fell last week to 6.15%, which was the lowest they've been since September 2022. Jerome Powell said unemployment rose, wage growth slowed, and the jobs worker gap shrunk.
The unemployment rate has moved up, but remains low at 4.2%. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs to workers gap has narrowed.
Also, applications to refinance a home loan rose 24% from the previous week. Powell says there's no preset schedule for any changes in the near future.
We are not on any preset course. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting.
And again, remember, this is not a politically appointed job. This is independent of the executive branch. The Federal Reserve is.
Yes. I mean, it for the most part has been ceremonially that. Like, if Donald Trump came in, he could appoint somebody in a partisan
But the
fashion.
idea is the Fed Reserve chairman
The idea is that it
doesn't
should
change with every administration.
Right.
But we've seen a lot of norms kind of busted.
Right.
Jay Powell again said that immigration was at least partially at fault for the rise in unemployment.
We understand there's been quite an influx across the borders, and that has actually been one of the things that's allowed unemployment rate to rise. And the other thing is just the slower hiring rate, which is something we also watch carefully.
The Teamsters
Is
Union,
he saying they're taking all our jobs?
they're taking our gerbs. Don't forget, though, that immigrants, and especially those working in the country with work permits, whether they're visas or the temporary asylum like the Haitians in Ohio, they also stimulate the economy. I mean, they're paying taxes on what they make, and they got to go to the grocery store, and they got to go, buy a car eventually at some point.
Well,
so.
J.D. Vance yesterday said those people are just as illegal aliens.
They're not.
He said they are, and he said they deserve to be deported.
Oh, all right. Well, they have TPS, which is temporary protected status.
Yes, they're legally protected.
So I think, now I got to take everything J.D. Vance says with a grain of salt, because he was the guy out there pushing this cats and dogs thing, and then they found Miss Sassy in the basement. The Teamsters Union has decided not to endorse anyone for president. They have done this before. The last time was in 96 when it was Bill Clinton running against Bob Dole. They didn't endorse anybody for president. And it probably has something to do that among the rank and file members of the Teamsters Union, something like 59% support Donald Trump for president. Yes, they're in the union, but they support Trump for president.
Yeah, but that's insane to support somebody who is
anti-union. Right, he's a union buster. Despite that, the Teamsters leadership has decided not to endorse anybody in the election. Former President Donald Trump was asked last night for his comments on the Teamsters deciding not to endorse either candidate.
No, it's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing.
It's a big honor that they're not endorsing anybody.
Oh, okay. He's taking it as a win that he was able to keep that endorsement away from Kamala.
All right. Today's Talk Like a Pirate Day, guys.
Arr.
So we're going to, I guess, get into that. All right. A billionaire in New York is donating $360 million to nonprofits in his community. And I guess this is is there a town called Western New York? Here's the billionaire CEO of Paychex, Tom Golisano. Look up what is Paychex? Is that like a payday loan place or
maybe like a payroll service?
Yeah, maybe. I just want to kind of know what he's all about. CEO of Paychex, Tom Golisano, talking about why he wanted to give so much. And again, it's $360 million.
Yeah, it's payroll processing.
Oh, okay. why he wanted to do so much for this community.
There are so many good organizations that provide so many services to people, and they're so important. And what I want to do today with this announcement is to tell them we're behind them. Hopefully, we are going to give them the opportunity to expand their services, to add even more quality, maybe even bring the pricing down.
And there was an injury in an overturned vehicle. Fortunately, the overturned vehicle was a horse-drawn carriage, but dozens were injured in Wisconsin when a wagon tipped over during a field trip at an apple orchard. Here's the local sheriff, Travis Hakes, talking about the incident.
During a field trip in the town of Lafayette, several children, along with parents and chaperones, were on a wagon ride through an apple orchard. During the time, one of the wagons began to lose control as it was descending on a hill. They attempted to stop the wagon from descending down the hill sideways, and it abruptly overturned. When the wagon overturned, there were multiple injuries to both children and adults.
All right. Ellen's new comedy special is out, and she has a lot of jokes about her her purge from Hollywood. She's kind of canceled after people came out and said she's not all that nice.
I mean, look, you weren't purged. You came off as the nicest person in the world and made that your brand, being such a sweetheart. And then when it comes out you're a douche in real life, your brand is ruined. I'm sorry, your brand was ruined.
Ellen DeGeneres jokes about how things turned out for her in showbiz.
All right, well, let me catch up on what's been going on with me since you saw me last. I decided to take up gardening. I got chickens. Let me see what else I can tell you about. Oh, yeah, I got kicked out of show business. Yeah, the Be Kind girl wasn't kind. That was the headline. Here's the problem. I'm a comedian who got a talk show, and I ended the show every day by saying, be kind to one another. Had I ended my show by saying, go yourselves, people would have been pleasantly surprised to find out I'm kind. I didn't go into this business for money. It was about healing my childhood wounds. I thought if I could make people happy, then they'll like me. And if they like me, I'll feel good about myself. And all I can say about that is thank God for the money.
So that Ellen DeGeneres stand-up special is going to be on Netflix, but not until next week.
I actually am interested in seeing that. Sounded good.
And finally, a lot of people were wondering where in the world is Melania Trump, because she wasn't showing up at any of the rallies. She finally has kind of come out of her shell, I guess. She's got a memoir called Melania, which hits shelves on October the 1st. But yesterday, the former First Lady, Melania Trump, took to social media to defend her past as a nude model. Here's what she said.
She was in Playboy, wasn't she?
She was in Maxim. I know that. Maybe. See, here's the thing. I started wait a minute. Let me refresh my memory. What were the poses like? But then it's like there's a ton of deep fakes and stuff, and it's just like really gross. I know that whatever she did, it was non-penetrative.
It wasn't porn, but it was naked photo shoots.
Yeah, naked photo shoots. But she defends her naked photo shoots while showing famous nude art like the Venus de Milo or any other naked David, the statue of David.
Yeah, I'm sure all penthouse models want to be able to compare themselves to that.
Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling work? The more pressing question is, why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot?
Because
Are
you
we
were
no
First
longer
Lady.
able to appreciate the beauty of the human body?
Can you imagine if Barack Obama had been in office and it came out, Michelle used to be a professional nude model and appeared in some pretty racy photo shoots with other women.
They would
in
say
sexual
she has
poses.
no place. She disgraces the seat of it.
It's such a big disgrace. This should never be allowed in the White House. Of course, that's what they'd be doing.
Also, for hating immigrants so much, Donald Trump's wife sounds like such an immigrant.
It sounds like her accent is actually getting more thick, like less American and more Slovakian.
Chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human forum in a fashion photo.
Form, not forum. I'm just kidding.
Of the human forum in a fashion photo shoot. I will no longer.
Tell me, there's a scene somewhere where Melania Trump and Arnold Schwarzenegger are on the same stage talking to each other. I want to hear Arnold Schwarzenegger interview Melania Trump because that would be fantastic.
Of the human forum in a fashion photo shoot. Are we no longer able?
I mean, it was Maxim. I don't know if that's a fashion photo shoot, but it was Maxim.
In a fashion photo shoot. Are we no longer able to appreciate the beauty of the human body? Throughout history, master artists have revered the human shape, evoking profound emotions and admiration.
Oh, really?
We should honor our bodies and embrace the timeless tradition of using art as a powerful means of self-expression.
Well, all I'll say is you never saw Hillary posing nude for Maxim magazine. So there you go. Melania wants you to know that she's proud that she was a nude model.
Hello, it is Melania Trump. And as you know, I am very proud of my naked modeling pictures. That's why I'm proud to introduce the Naked Melania 2005 wall calendar. Every month with a new picture of me being in the total nude. And let's take a look. July. It is 4th of American July and I totally naked. Talk about fireworks. And guess where the sparkler is? You like it? Yes, you do. All 11 months, I have a naked picture of me. That's right, 11 months. There is no December because December has the Christmas. I don't like the Christmas. Get the Naked Melania 2025 wall calendar. I am standing by waiting for your order. And yes, I am in the nudes. Order now.
I'm Daniel Paulus, and whether you're wrapping up your workday...
Until next year, the model year savings are the biggest savings. Hurry in, because we want to see you in a Petrie Kia.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Interman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
Good morning, friends.
Welcome to the show.
Ahoy, matey, it be a glorious day.
Why are you talking like that?
It's National Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Talk like a pirate day? I'm a pirate.
I'm a pirate.
Ahoy, matey.
Yar!
Ahoy, matey.
Happy National Talk Like a Pirate Day, matey.
It's showtime.
We will have more on that coming up in the Mo Show calendar and daily almanac of events.
Shiver me timbers. Blimey.
Mm-hmm.
You've got big booty.
Okay.
I like big booty and I cannot lie. You other pirates might deny.
Let's get to a few phone calls here, and then we'll have the Mo Show calendar and daily almanac of events on the way for you.
Hey, good morning, guys. You're right. The Fed Reserve Chairman position is not supposed to be political. It's apolitical. But if you probably heard that for several years now, Trump bashing him, Jerome Powell. Here's the crazy thing. Yeah. Jerome Powell was appointed by Donald Trump.
Right, he was a Trump appointee.
Have a good one.
Right.
Yeah, and actually yesterday, right after his announcement, a Fox News reporter asked Jerome Powell if he made the interest rate cut as a way to help Joe Biden during the election. And Jerome Powell had to kind of swat it away, saying, no, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump has been publicly saying at rallies that he should not lower it until after he's elected.
Yeah. He would rather you continue to pay a higher interest rate, millions and millions and millions of Americans, rather than give Joe Biden, in his mind, a point.
Right.
You know, he would rather you not get a lower interest rate. Okay.
What an awful human being.
Here are a lot of the calls that I got throughout the day yesterday. Once we put the podcast out. So that was part of the deal. They said, Kat Tempf from Fox News, specifically Gutfeld, did not like how the interview went. And they said, they said a few things. First of all, they said, look, she wants an on-air apology. And I said, oh, all right, I'll give you my phone number. She could call and apologize to me on the air. But we also agreed not to put it in the podcast, and then people started noticing it wasn't on the Buzz On Demand podcast when they finally listened to it.
Hey, Buzz Adams and Morning Crew. I was trying to find the interview you did yesterday with the woman, and I can't find it on the app. I can't find it on Spotify. It goes from advertisement to caller reaction. I'd like to know, where is the interview? Why weren't you? Did you guys not post it? Were you not allowed to? Give us a chisme.
That was okay. I'll give you the chisme. That was one of the things that they requested. First of all, I'm not going to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong, so they're not getting that. They asked us, please don't post it.
Okay,
put it online.
Sure, that's reasonable.
Let's see.
Are we good with Premier Networks?
That was part of the tightrope act. Was I don't want to lose our service with Premier because they set up a lot of really good interviews. Also, I don't want to back away from any tough interview. I wouldn't back away from it if I were the interview guest.
Sure.
I'm certainly not going to back away from it when I think I was completely right.
Arr! I say arr, Mosho. It's Blackbeard ODG. I'm calling from Free Speech Jail. The Brig. Arr! Hey, y'all were talking about that Kat Tempf interview, which y'all did not put in the podcast, but y'all kept talking about it and teasing the audience. But anyways, on Rogan, she says she hasn't done nicotine since she got pregnant, and that she really, really misses nicotine. That she does nicotine pouches, the Zyn, which I do too. They're great. And she's probably going through nicotine withdrawal, man. Right why she got all emotional. And she has ADHD and hasn't taken ADHD medication since she got preggers. So that's double withdrawals, man.
I just want to point out, ODG doesn't know any of this for a fact. He didn't even hear the interview. He's making all these conclusions just based on what he.
Well, maybe if she was just recently on Joe Rogan, that makes sense.
That she was also a little
nicotine withdrawal, maybe
a little testy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicotine and ADHD medication withdrawal. You know what I mean? Okie dokie, babe. I mean, arr, you scallywag.
All right. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, ODG. Welcome back from jail.
More calls like this. All right, let's go ahead and do the Mo Show calendar and daily almanac of events for Talk Like a Pirate Day. Taking a look at what's happening on the calendar today. We'll circle back around. Matey, you could call it, you call anybody matey, and that's talking like a pirate, I guess.
Anybody matey. What if you're mating with your matey?
Use your matey call. Birthdays today include Jimmy Fallon, the Tonight Show host, is 50. And still laughing harder at his own jokes than anybody else's. Trisha Yearwood, married to Garth Brooks, is 60 years old today. Also turning 60, Kim Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and the real life aunt of Paris Hilton. She's 60 today. Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry.
Really? Why is it spelled like that then?
That's been her name since she's been on.
Yeah, Sherry O'Terry. You're right. Formerly of SNL, is 62. She was, her and Will Ferrell were the cheerleaders. Remember the cheerleader skit?
Yep.
Okay. And rock star Lita Ford is 66. She was lead guitarist in Runaways, had a big solo career with Kiss Me Deadly, and maybe her most famous song, her duet with Ozzy, Close My Eyes Forever. Lita Ford is 66 today. And Twiggy is having a birthday. She's 75. Do you know who Twiggy was?
Like a 60s model in Britain,
like a
right?
60s model, but she was just like, she was Twiggy, you know, and she was like super, super waifish, I guess, was what she was famous for. She's 75. And Jeremy Irons, the actor who was the voice of Scar in The Lion King, but also Alfred in some of the more recent DC movies. He's 76 today. And as I mentioned, it is Talk Like a Pirate Day, which has been around for a couple of decades now. You're encouraged to use pirate lingo and say "R" as much as you feel like today on Talk Like a Pirate Day. Have you ever heard the term pirate radio?
Yeah, we did a whole AfterBuzz about it.
Did you think it was like radio that pirates did?
I didn't think pirates
had radios.
What kind of like Somali pirates or
no? The old-fashoned.
Yeah, I didn't think they had radios back then.
Jolly Roger, they did. That's how pirate radio began. Yeah.
Arg, and we be back. Coming up, driving on the high seas at the top and bottom of every hour. Here with 103.9, 103.9. We want to send a special ahoy to our good buccaneers down at the Golden Doubloon. This weekend, they'll be helping us raise money at our annual Matey breakfast to buy hooks for pirates who have lost their hands in the recent unpleasantness with the King's Navy. This morning, though, ye still have 10 minutes to come down to the dock for our Shake Your Pirate Booty contest. The winner gets dinner for two at Long John Silver's. Not the restaurant, it's at Long John Silver's. He's our afternoon DJ. Look for our intern, Scuttle, out there in the K-Pirate dinghy. He'll be handing out tickets for a drawing. First prize is an iPhone, second prize is an iPod, and the third prize is an eye patch.
You just got keel-hauled by KLAQ and the Captain.
Pirate radio.
While you're working away, we're working for you.
Our Star Sports Amigo buy to pick up your Yingling flight for the weekend, and you could win tickets to the air show.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a town square media station.
All right, we started playing Monday. It's the KLAQ cash code. They're back. And this time around, it could mean $30,000 for you if you play the game. Money talks. The KLAQ cash codes pay. Starting in the 8 o'clock hour this morning and every weekday morning, we'll give the first cash code out. What you do when you hear the cash codes, open the KLAQ mobile app on your phone and enter the cash code. You can also get all the details and official rules of the contest there. And at KLAQ.com. But the more codes you enter, the better your chance to win $30,000 or to be one of our 10 daily $100 winners. So both of those are on the table. 100 would be nice. 30 grand would be pretty life-changing for most people. So listen every Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and through 5 p.m. for the KLAQ cash codes. So here's hold on a second. I need to get some polka music because we're getting close enough to Oktoberfest. I don't like that one. So yeah, I like that one better. Here's Ed the Brewer from Downshift Brewery in Ruidoso. He's our Ruidoso correspondent. I just had,
Good morning, guys.
I don't mean to spring a question on you. Why is it called Oktoberfest if it's in September?
Oh, everybody asks that, but it's actually supposed to be a fall event, and that lines up with the harvest, which, I don't know, it could be climate change. Who knows what's going on with that? But either way, September is the month to celebrate harvest. hilarious.
Yeah,
So.
and
I think that's what they do at the big one in Germany. The huge one they have in Germany.
The big one in Germany
September.
starts on September 21st.
Yeah. That
Right.
okay. So this year, September 21st is the first day of autumn. So as we're trying to figure this out, but your party's not coming up till closer to the end of the month, right?
September 28th. So we're 1 week after Germany starts. Yeah, which we still do have tickets on for sale now. Our early bird ticket sales end on Sunday night. So if you're on the fence and you want to get that sale, you better get them by Sunday. Otherwise,
let me
you got to pay full price.
Let me tell you and how do they go about getting those tickets early?
So if you use Eventbrite and look up Ruidoso Oktoberfest, you can find it there. You can also go to our website, which is downshift.beer, and the front page will have a banner on it, and you click on that, and you get those tickets there too. So.
Now, you guys, I know because I used to go to different Oktoberfest parties in Ruidoso, so you're not the only one. Like the entire city is going to be having different Oktoberfest events, right?
Well, now we are the only one.
Oh, really?
So, they used to have a big one at the convention center for a long time, which was fun. But, they quit doing it 3 years ago, so we started doing it. That was the year that we started, so it was just kind of fortuitous that we were able to jump on that.
It's the one at the convention center that I went to, but yours is much better, I can tell you.
Much funner.
Yeah.
Why would you talk about the convention center one? You went to his because you came to see me last year.
Yeah, I was just going to tell people kind of what it was like.
Nico's the guy. Yeah, Nico's the host, so it's obviously better.
Right.
But we will have polka music this year, which we didn't last year, which is pretty awesome. And then we'll have some great bands, and then the headliner of all headliners, Fungi Mongol, obviously,
the party
at
started
the end. So we're pretty excited about that.
Hey, real quick, Ed. So the lederhosen I'm going to be wearing, what is it called that the women wear?
Dirndls.
Gendals.
They were dirndls.
Dirndls.
Dirndl. Yeah. Yep.
God.
I call those shirts they were wearing boobs a poppin'. It's like Farfignugan, but boobs a poppin'.
They do look nice. Women look nice in the dirndls.
All the women look like the St. Pauli girl.
Exactly. That's a good example of a dirndl right there.
Can you give us just a description of what the special Oktoberfest brew is that you're whipping up, Ed?
Sure. Yep. And we actually, if you need a practice round or two, we actually have it on tap this weekend.
All right.
Awesome.
And it's going to be what's called a Märzen, which is an amber German lager. So it's going to have a little bit of maltiness. But those Germans, they don't like too much flavor in their beer. So it's still a nice, approachable beer.
Mm-hmm.
And, alcohol in the 5 to 6%. So it's perfect for this time of year. It's getting a little brisk in the air up here. It's definitely like pumpkin spice latte weather out here. So a nice malty beer to match it is just what you need.
All right, we're really planning on the weekend of the 28th for Oktoberfest at Downshift Brewery, right on. I call it Main Street. What is that? What is that? Meacham?
So it's going to be Sudworth. And most people will call it Midtown.
Yeah.
So it's just in Midtown, which is where all the things happen.
The place was packed. So. I mean, somehow it was packed, but also you didn't have to wait long to get a beer. I mean, you must have had like a triple staff working because you didn't have to wait long to get a stein of beer at your Oktoberfest last year.
That's the event we pull every favor possible and say, hey, would you mind pouring some beer for us?
Right. And not just beer, but the food. Whoever your chef is was doing schnitzel and pretzels and mustard.
And there's nonstop entertainment on an outside stage. People are partying inside. There are so many different levels of Downshift Brewery that you can hang out in. And you see a lot of people from El Paso there, too, so you're bound to run into somebody that you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 28th. How about this weekend, Ed? What's coming up in Ruidoso this weekend?
So this weekend, actually tonight, we have Brie Bagwell, which we talked about last weekend.
Love Brie.
But, if you can get away early, you got Brie Bagwell tonight. And then this weekend is the Motor Mountain weekend. So it's kind of like a biker rally, but for just people who drive, four-wheeled vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. It's a poker run is what they call it. You got to stop at every stop. You get a poker card, and at the very end, the grand prize is $1,000. So if you have a four-wheeled vehicle and you're looking for something kind of cool to do, head on up for the Motor Mountain weekend. So,
and if you work up a thirst mountain motoring, you can always head to Downshift Brewery in Midtown. See how I can always bring it back around.
We're one of the stops. Also, if you're not into that and you like to fly kites, the Kite Festival's this weekend.
Kite Festival this weekend. Well, here's wishing you a windy but not too windy weekend in Ruidoso, Ed.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, cheers, guys.
Bye, buddy.
There's Ed the Brewer. Actually born, raised, went to school in Ruidoso, went off, learned the craft of brewing, and then came back and opened his own craft brew place called Downshift, and a fantastic place to party. So
it absolutely is. I love that place. And like I said, great food.
Joanna, are you ready for the Hollywood Cheese Bang? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do it.
Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Bang. Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Bang. Joanna, tell us more.
Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live has said its first batch of hosts for season 50.
I seen some.
Hosting for her first time, Jean Smart will open the season on September 28th with musical guest Jelly Roll, followed by an October 5th episode hosted by Nate Bargatze, featuring songs from Coldplay. What?
Did
I say that wrong?
No. Okay, so Nate Bargatze is one of my favorite comics. I think he's hilarious.
Fantastic, and he hosted last year, and I hate to say it because I thought he was kind of a dick to me.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze was also one of the worst interviews we've ever had.
You want to know something funny? I hear from a lot of listeners who are like, I hate Nate Bargatze now because of that interview that he did with us.
But then they had him as the host of Saturday Night Live, and he was phenomenal. He was so good. I was like, well, I kind of want to hate the guy because he was a dick to me. But on the other hand, he did a really good job hosting SNL. So who else?
He will be on October 5th. Ariana Grande will host for the second time on October 12th with musical guest Stevie Nicks.
I'm glad she's having a musical guest. I don't like it when the host is the musical guest. It's too much.
Yeah, that's weird. Michael Keaton will visit Studio 8H on October 19th with musical guest Billie Eilish, and John Mulaney will host on November 2nd with first-timer Chappell Roan as musical guest.
John Mulaney has become a go-to for Saturday Night Live. How many skits do you think they'll recruit Jelly Roll to be in for the first episode? I say at least
one.
Okay, so he's got his 2 musical spots. He's got to be at least one. I'll predict it's going to be one of the Please Don't Destroy videos. You know, the 3 nerd writers that have their own. They're kind of like the
Lonely Island.
They're kind of like the Lonely Island. Yeah, I think that's where Jelly Roll's
I can't wait. I love Jelly Roll.
And when is the first new episode? The one with Jean Smart?
September 28th. Jean Smart and Jelly Roll.
Sorry, Downshift Brewery. I got to be home. No, I'm just kidding. I can do both. Oktoberfest and watching the season premiere.
Go Buzz. I believe in you.
What recent thing in the news will they do the cold open about? Will it be people
Haitians eating dogs?
Haitians eating dogs and cats? Is that what it's going to be? Childless cat ladies? Maybe they get Taylor on.
Maybe
to
they
do
bring
a cameo,
back
right?
Kate McKinnon. That'd be great.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. All right. Looking forward to
Predictions begin September 28th. Dave Bautista, the WWE legend turned Hollywood actor, has always been known for his muscular physique. However, recent photos have sparked concern among fans.
He's tiny.
As he appears significantly leaner than he once was.
It means you quit doing steroids.
The actor detailed his 75-pound weight loss on Insight with Chris Van Vliet last week, explaining that he was 315 pounds after filming Knock at the Cabin Door. Since the former professional, who is 55, put on the weight really fast, he says that he felt uncomfortably big, so he turned to fasting and calorie cutting to slim down. He also clarified that his decision to slim down was not related to any health concerns and that he's definitely not starving himself despite fans' worries.
Listen, I saw Batista in a like a Speedo.
Uh-huh.
So,
Really?
And yeah, in
Why are you
really?
looking up photos of Batista
No, he
in
was.
Speedos?
Come on, babe. Why are you doing that?
Glass Onion, the sequel
In
to
a
Knives
Speedo?
Out. Yeah, he's at a Speedo.
I gotta watch
He's
that.
not carrying around 75 pounds of fat. That was 75 pounds of muscle.
Oh, woof, muscle.
Yeah.
Did you just bark?
Yeah. He makes me bark. Batista shared that a primary motivation behind his weight loss was his desire to avoid being visually distracting in his roles. Known for his larger-than-life presence, especially from his days in WWE, Batista expressed that being excessively muscular could distract from his on-screen performances.
It didn't seem to have my career in it.
All right.
All right, Arnold.
Eric, yes.
The pictures of him this weekend, I think he was on a red carpet, and that's where a lot of people noticed him. Yeah, he looks significantly smaller. Did you see those pictures?
No. But I know
his head hasn't gotten smaller, though.
I went to college with, right, so he looks like a bobblehead, right?
Yeah, a little.
I went to college with Brian Bosworth, and Brian Bosworth was a beast. And then they had him like doing some TV announcing after he was done in the NFL, which didn't last very long. And he had shrunk, and it was because he'd quit doing steroids.
Oh, my God.
But let me say this. Dave Bautista is actually a really, really good actor. The best
Yeah.
and
And
actor.
I like
He can
Knock at the Cabin Door.
Yeah, it was suspenseful. I liked it, too.
Eric Roberts has had a complicated relationship with his sister, Julia Roberts. Some of that had to do with substance abuse, but jealousy also played a huge part. Roberts once claimed responsibility for his sister's career, and now he's publicly retracting that statement. In his new memoir, Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far, the prolific character actor apologizes to his sister, for saying that he made her famous. In the book, Roberts writes, quote, "Now, one of the things I'd like to apologize for in this book is for publicly saying on more than one occasion, if it wasn't for me, there would be no Julia Roberts. That's not only unfortunate, but it's also untrue, and I hope Julie will accept this more public apology. It was an asinine thing to have said. I was proud of her, but it was a pride turned on its head to my own advantage." Eric adds that his sister is, quote, "a very driven woman, and someone would have plucked her out of the crowd without any of his help."
Wait. So they are estranged just because Eric Roberts had a little bit of bigger ego than
So
Julia?
apparently in the book, he goes into more detail. He moved to Manhattan first, then Julia Roberts. Julie is what they call her, by the way. Julie. And she followed him, but he had a substance abuse problem.
Oh, yeah.
And he was kind of mean to her and to their other sister. And then on more than one occasion, he did say,
"She's only a big star because of me."
Right.
Yeah.
Aww.
And so they've had a very complicated relationship.
We're going to have Eric Roberts on in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we are. Eric Roberts' memoir, Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far, is available now.
Speaking of Runaway Train, we're going to have Soul Asylum.
After years of discussion and development, the sequel to The Passion of the Christ is reportedly slated to begin filming in early 2025.
Oh, awesome. I've always wanted to see a sequel to this. I didn't know the rest of the story.
According to Italian...
You thought he was gone, but he's back. JC returns.
Now it picks
Crucify this.
It picks up 3 days later.
It's going to start with 3 days later. According to Italian news, Mel Gibson is currently in Malta with a production team to scout potential filming locations for The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, which will feature Jim Caviezel returning to play Jesus.
Well, Jim Caviezel's got to be in his 50s by now.
Yeah.
Jesus was 33 when he died. It's going to be hard to believe.
A little, maybe.
Maybe this is an alternate history thing. Like, what if he didn't get
die.
crucified?
What if he continued to live until 55? The Passion of the Christ, which premiered in 2004, earned over $600 million at the box office and received 3 Oscar nominations. Since then, Gibson has expressed interest in continuing the story, and the script has reportedly undergone multiple drafts and revisions. In a 2022 interview, Gibson described the sequel film as a non-linear narrative set in the past and in other realms, and getting into a little sci-fi. This led to speculation that the Passion of the Christ resurrection would potentially include a depiction of Jesus' time in hell.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I was actually thinking that. What if it shows when he goes down to hell to confront Satan? Because that's in the Bible.
That?
In the Bible, he does
In the Bible.
that. Yeah.
I didn't know he went to hell. I thought like
that's where he went after the crucifixion. He went to hell. Also, Satan had tried to tempt him right before the crucifixion, and they didn't. I don't think they showed that one in Passion of the Christ.
I think they did.
Oh, did they? They showed him out in the desert, and the devil was like, "I will make you that." Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I thought it was a desert thing. I thought they were out in the desert. Yeah.
Well, finally, Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail at his appeal hearing in Manhattan yesterday and will remain in custody after a district judge deemed him a danger and a flight risk.
You mean P. Diddler?
P. Diddler. Combs appeared in court following his arrest on Monday in New York City when he was subsequently charged on 3 counts, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. During the bail appeal hearing, prosecutors reiterated points from the indictment that he drugged victims and filmed them during freak-offs or days-long orgies, using the footage as blackmail. They claim that 6 guns were seized from his property and that the head of his security has been served with a subpoena.
Well, if you're going to mention the 6 guns, don't forget to mention the 1,000 bottles of lube.
No.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
That's used on the body, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Which a brothel would like to remind you, baby oil is not good lube.
Right.
Don't do that.
Apparently, they also bought lubricant.
There were like 6 bottles of lube,
Yeah.
but amongst a sea of baby oil.
1,000 bottles of baby oil with 0 babies in sight. Something's fishy.
Okay, wait. Have you guys took any deep dive into this yet?
No.
Okay.
Just enough to give you this entertainment
Let me
news.
tell you guys, it gets wild. And Rosie O'Donnell has a part to play in this
Well, with
story.
your entertainment news, I'm Joanna Barba.
You don't become a hip-hop mogul, a fashion icon, or a vodka baron without being pretty slick. Introducing Diddy Lube. Entering for play while in a 3-way.
Oh my God.
For the love you make, grease up your snake with some Diddy Lube. Diddy Lube, Diddy Lube, and P. Diddy Lube. Your Sean John deserves the best. Diddy Lube. For chicks or dudes, lube your tube with Diddy Lube. Use this directions.
Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show, Glenn Garza and Daniel Paulus.
That's Papa Roach, 95.5 KLAQ. Nico, are we doing an AfterBuzz today after the show?
We does the AfterBuzz today.
But the reason I'm asking if we're doing it today, because we're doing our first ever live AfterBuzz podcast this weekend at the El Paso Comedy Festival.
Yes. So we're going to do both.
We are going to have an AfterBuzz today.
We are going to have an AfterBuzz today.
But we're also going to be live at 2 o'clock from La Bang Bang.
Yes.
I can tell they gave us a real prime spot, too. 2 p.m.
No. We asked for 2 p.m.
Oh,
they had lots of, because you would not go.
You don't go out after dark.
You wouldn't go anywhere after dark, right?
Yeah, I'm a reverse vampire.
Yes.
I don't go out after dark.
A lot of people are excited for that.
Oh, do you think people are going to show up?
Yes.
Oh, man, I hope so. That'll be 2 o'clock at La Bang Bang. Where's that?
It's downtown. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With good food. Good. It's a restaurant and a bar.
Where do people go to find out more about the El Paso Comedy Festival?
You can go to ChucotownComedyFestival.com.
We have a guest on who is a lawyer and a journalist and has written a book about constitutional sheriffs. The new book is called The Highest Law in the Land by Jessica Pishko. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. Hi, great to be here.
Yeah, you know what? We were so looking forward to this because we had been going back and forth, and I just kind of want to hype up the book because it's already won several things. It's been shortlisted for the Columbia Journalism School's J. Anthony Lucas Prize. It's a Publisher's Lunch nonfiction buzz book named most anticipated by the Los Angeles Times. This is a really interesting subject.
I hope so. I think so.
Let me begin by saying the most recent season of Fargo, a constitutional sheriff played by John Hamm was one of the big plot points. But we're talking about sheriffs who believe that they are the highest authority, even higher than Congress or the president. Explain to me, and I see that on their membership rolls, they have over 4,000 members. There can't be 4,000 sheriffs in America who believe that they're the highest law of the land, can there?
Well, there's only 3,000, like 3,080, so no.
Okay.
it would be impossible. So their membership roll, just to be clear, includes a lot of either deputy sheriffs or non-sheriffs, so a lot of civilians.
Just people who support the cause, I guess.
People who support the cause. I would also say that number is probably, they tend to grossly inflate their numbers as a way to sound more important. So that is certainly one of those things. And, you bring up John Hamm in Fargo, which, other than the nipple ring, is a pretty accurate representation of what I saw. I did not see anyone in a hot tub. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
He's relaxing in moist repose.
Yes, I did not meet anyone relaxing in moist repose gratefully. But very similar, right? He, like many constitutional sheriffs, right? He believes he is the ultimate authority of what is legal and illegal. He refuses to acknowledge federal law enforcement authorities or state law enforcement authorities. And alongside that, right, he has this partnership with a militia group. Right, he partners with these militia groups, which he uses as a sort of like personal strike force to ensure that like his property remains as it is. And so I think that, one of the things about the constitutional sheriff movement that allows it to remain in place is the way in which they insulate themselves from any and all accountability, including through, right, we saw a lot of, like, they hire their friends and family, they recruit militia groups to support them, they kind of insulate themselves to make sure that no federal or state officials can hold them, in fact, accountable for when they decide how they want to enforce the law.
Jessica, can you clarify one thing real quick? How much power do sheriffs actually have?
So sheriffs believe, there's a difference between what power they believe they have and what they actually have. Sheriffs believe that they are wholly unaccountable, that in their county they are indeed the highest law in the land.
Real quick, we're not talking about we're talking about constitutional sheriffs. There are plenty of sheriffs that don't feel this way, obviously.
Well, actually, all sheriffs, I would say, believe in the sort of united myth that there is no law enforcement officer higher than them in the county. Now, whether they believe they could disobey the president or the Supreme Court is a question, but every sheriff in every county believes that they are kind of the ultimate decider of law in their county. Now, many of them wield that in a more, I think, personable or cooperative way, but they certainly believe that the people cannot tell them what to do other than the voters. We see that is just true across the country, which is why the office has remained relatively unreformed in most places.
Well, we have a sheriff's election coming up, and we're going to have both candidates in, and I'm going to ask them if that's how they feel.
I think you should. I think many of them will hedge it and say, like, well, yes, but I like to work with people, right? And I think that we do. We count on our local officials to work with others, right, in a way that's more cooperative. The reality is a lot more complicated because the United States simply has a policing system that is really, right, like many different fiefdoms, right? We have some 20,000 law enforcement offices across the country, and a lot of them are not required to work with other people. Sheriffs are kind of interesting because they are both kind of they do have all this power locally, but they also have lots of other law enforcement officials around them, and there is a great impetus for them to work together. And what I will say is that when sheriffs attempt to use their great discretion to do something different, so let's say they say, oh, I don't want to do as many traffic stops, or I want to work on being a more progressive-minded sheriff, that we immediately see other law enforcement officials around them saying, like, oh, well, you can't do that. That's not okay. So they will put a stop to it and argue that that's an abuse of discretion. But, we live in a country where law enforcement officers do largely get to do whatever they want, which is pretty wild.
It seems like constitutional sheriffs kind of go hand in hand with people who believe in this sovereign citizen movement. So these are people that don't think the laws don't apply to them because of some arcane rule from English common law. I mean, it gets really complicated, and you really got to go down a rabbit hole. I'm sure you had to go down several.
I did. So you were correct. There is a great connection between the constitutional sheriff movement and the sovereign citizen movement. They come from sort of the same, what I call like murky roots, kind of like a primordial stew of ideas, right? And they claim to be based in kind of medieval England ideas, but let's be real. The sovereign citizen movement is another far right movement that was largely based on militia-minded movements. And bear in mind, some of these far right movements, they came from legitimate problems, right? Like the sovereign citizen movement came from movements, in the 70s and 80s in rural areas when farmers were indeed losing their farmland, right? They were filing for bankruptcy. And the sovereign citizen movement, promised people that they would be able to keep their property by filing fake legal filings, and people made money by claiming to be sovereign citizen lawyers who would help people evade taxes and keep their property, right? It is also at its root, right, is grift. They go in and tell people, we can get you what you want. They go to people in distress and say, we can get you what you want if you follow us, right? And they don't sort of inform people this is a movement based in kind of white supremacy principles. This is, fake law. What we're doing is, essentially lying and telling you can file these filings. And people, look, the law is complicated. If you are losing your property and in foreclosure, a lot of people don't know what to do. And so, I see a lot of this as just sincere grift. Same with the constitutional sheriff. They go in and tell sheriffs, I'll tell you how to be a really good sheriff. You just need to say that you're going to keep out the federal government. You're not going to enforce gun laws, right? You're going to tell people that you don't like immigrants. And sheriffs buy it because, to be quite honest, sheriffs are at root poorly trained. They don't have a lot of requirements, so a lot of them don't have experience in things. They don't know the law necessarily. And so they kind of give these guys who doesn't like to be told that you're the most important official?
But sheriffs are elected officials. At least in our city, they're elected officials.
Well, I guess that's what I'm wondering. Are you saying they're not experienced because they're elected?
And I'll say that a lot of the sheriffs that we've dealt with all came from law enforcement. For instance, we have a sheriff who was the former chief of police, so they're not neophytes when it comes to their jobs.
So the vast majority of sheriffs are elected, and the vast majority both have worked in the sheriff's office before, and many of them even went to high school in the counties where they're elected. So they're both deeply rooted in local institutions and generally have experience in that sheriff's office. So when I say a lot are not experienced, that's just to say in many states there are no requirements for sheriff. For example, you don't have to be certified. You don't have to have training in, how to deal with people in a mental health crisis, right? They sort of don't have requirements. But I will say, especially in large counties with big cities, yes, most sheriffs are running based on their law enforcement experience. Not to say that that's not to say that they don't have that experience. I will say though that being a sheriff involves more than just sort of being a police officer, because sheriffs are not necessarily out on patrol. In fact, their job involves usually running the jail, which is one of the biggest parts of being a sheriff. And that's where I see, many sheriffs come in, they may understand how policing works on the street, but they may not have a full understanding of all the civil rules of the sheriff, like when are you supposed to remove firearms from someone under red flag laws, and the jail, which is a site of where you have a lot of people in distress, a lot of people with mental health issues and substance use issues, and people die in jails, right? So we know that they aren't being run maybe as well as we would hope.
We're talking to Jessica Pishko, who is the nation's leading authority on sheriffs. And as part of writing this book, you went to a constitutional sheriff training. Did you see anything in your training session that you attended that was alarming or that seemed to be out of the mainstream?
So I would say that the training, which it used to be count as like continuing education in Texas, and it no longer does based on the information on the training. The training that I saw, honestly, what they basically do is talk to sheriffs about the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, so the Bill of Rights. But there is very little discussion about, one, how to talk to the community, how to be an effective police officer, how to do searches, how to conduct traffic stops, how to not, hurt people, and how to be an effective, right? There's nothing about the things that we think police and law enforcement should do to keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, it sort of fills them with ideas of the Second Amendment is really, really important, and we should never take away people's firearms. I mean, in fact, things like it should be legal to own a machine gun is a popular view, right? There's nothing about how do we protect victims of abuse whose partners might have firearms? What should we do? How should we evaluate them? Nothing like that. How do we deal with people in mental health crisis? Nothing like that. The things that law enforcement actually do, instead it fills their head with, again, these ideas of a fantasy role that sheriffs are the protectors of the Constitution. And look, let's be real. If you are in the community, I understand that, yes, the Constitution, governs, a lot of our rights, but I think that what people want at the end of the day is law enforcement officials who keep their community safe,
Mm-hmm.
who treat people equally and with respect, and who run their department professionally, right? You want
Right.
a department where you feel like hiring and firing is professional, where the jails are professional, where if you go to the sheriff for questions or concerns that you're going to be responded to in a professional manner. People want to be treated well. Right? I mean, that's what we expect from these kinds of departments. We don't expect them to give us a lecture about the Second Amendment.
What is it with with the Bundys, with Amon Bundy and his dad? They had a lot of fights with the Bureau of Land Management. I don't know if you know this, but
Was he a sheriff, though?
Was Bundy a sheriff?
Yeah.
No. But, some of the constitutional sheriffs definitely are on the side of the people. What is it with the land usage? What's that all about?
So a really important part of the constitutional sheriff movement is the idea that the federal government should not be able to own public land. This is, in the West, there's actually quite a lot of land, and in some states like Nevada, a vast majority of the land is actually owned by the federal government, and it's used for a variety of purposes, like it's environmental, it might be used for grazing, they might lease it for grazing, etc. And one of the issues that the Bundy family and the constitutional sheriffs have taken up is this idea that, that the federal government has too much control over people's lives, and they tend to side with, ranchers, as this idea of ranchers are with the land. There's a lot of ideas in constitutional sheriffs, and indeed sheriffs overall, is sheriffs are attached to the land because they are county officials. They're not attached to the people, rather the land and the property. And so many groups like the Bundys, who have a lot in common with sovereign citizens and militia groups, right? This idea that they are the real Americans. They are the people that the Constitution is written for, right? The Constitution is supposed to protect their rights, and they believe that sheriffs ought to support them, even though some sheriffs did not support them. They thought that sheriffs ought to. And again, this is sort of one of those things where it gets kind of elided, what exactly happened. When the Bundys family did not want to pay their grazing fees, it sounds kind of mild, but when you look at what actually happened, like, he didn't pay his grazing fees for decades upon decades. He owed, like, millions and millions of dollars. So it wasn't just like, I forgot to pay my traffic ticket. It was like he on purpose did not pay his grazing fees. Decades and decades.
Jessica Pishko has a book, The Highest Law in the Land, all about constitutional sheriff movement.
Super interesting.
And you should check it out. And check out the last season of Fargo. It was really the first full season of that TV show that I ever watched. By the way, going back to the sovereign citizen, if anybody's ever brought this up to you and says you don't have to pay taxes, that has not worked out in court very well for people who went with that advice, notably Wesley Snipes, right?
It does not. Do not do it. It does not work out.
Right. They might tell you it works and you're not going to have to pay taxes, but it doesn't work when you get in front of a judge.
No, it really doesn't. And if they tell you to represent yourself,
right.
They don't. That's the second thing that sovereign citizens will do is they'll represent themselves. They're facing actually a lot of, they'll be facing substantial jail time and fines. It's not it is not a joke to get in trouble with the federal government.
All right. Jessica's book is The Highest Law in the Land. Thank you, Jessica, for being on with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Music news, concert updates, song and album factoids, and of course, nothing but El Paso's best rock.
All better.
Healthcare provider about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
Coming up later from Escape the Fate, the drummer, Rob Ortiz, who is from El Paso.
How cool is that?
And Rob is the only remaining original founding member of Escape the Fate. They had some lead singer drama at about the midpoint of their career. So Rob Ortiz and Escape the Fate are performing a free show this Saturday at Speaking Rock Entertainment Center. It is a 21 and older show, but it is free. I've got a few phone calls here. So what did people say about the interview with the lady writing about constitutional sheriffs?
Oh, we got a lot of thoughts about that. Somebody says she's making some pretty broad generalizations. While she says the majority of sheriffs, that's a pretty broad brushstroke.
We touched on that, and we talked about it a little bit. I said, I think there are plenty of sheriffs who don't consider themselves above the law.
I guess what she's saying, and if you had, we have the preparation material to look through a little bit more, but really, these sheriffs don't have any legislation that keeps them in check. There's very little to prevent them from doing certain things. And so I think she's saying that, while some sheriffs may present themselves more friendly or less friendly, or may not even say these things out loud, what a sheriff's office might claim in court or in a legal document might be different.
Okay. I think probably what she's talking about, like the kind of sheriff who coordinates with local militias and,
Well, I don't think there is a archetypical thing she was talking about. I think she was mentioning...
But I was just going to say, I think those are mostly in sparsely populated counties, probably.
Probably cities with larger... Like she said, cities with larger population, their sheriff's candidates generally come from a place of a law enforcement background. But because most of them are elected, yeah, sure. What's to say that in Beaufort, Montana, that you're not going to elect somebody that has never...
Yeah. You just like the cut of his jib.
Yeah, I like the cut of his jib. Never has he ever been a law enforcement officer before, but...
And then all of a sudden he's in there and there are people whispering in his ear, you're actually the highest authority.
Hire your friends. Hire your family.
Good morning, guys. It's Steven. Well, I don't know, man. But it's a little convenient, You have this very controversial interview. It's a little convenient, but you know what, buddy? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You're not going to distract us from the real issue here. We are never going to forget that you called Nico spade.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, not going to happen. Not going to work, dude.
I think I figured out how that happened.
Oh, yeah. Please explain. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm just playing with you, Buzz. Good job, Joanna, on getting that sound bite.
Yeah, pull it up, Joanna.
Good stuff. But anyways, yeah. Buzz, like, seriously, though, you handled that interview very well.
All right.
Very well. You stood your ground very well, and she's the a-hole.
Now, I think he's talking about the interview yesterday.
Oh, for Cat Tim.
Yeah, I thought he was calling in to talk about the interview we just did. Oh, we going to have a podcast today, babe?
You're welcome.
You know, first of all, that was Tuesday. I was jet lagged. Also, I caught myself. That's what I call my daughter sometimes. So, hey, babe, you want to go to the movies? You want me to pick you up today, babe? So it just came out. Oh no!
He sees Nico
as
a
my
child.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of your childs.
We going to have a podcast today, babe?
I think it's nice.
Did you hear the responses to your interview yesterday with Kat Tim?
I heard some of them, yeah.
Did you read the app chat messages to him, Joanna?
No, I didn't.
Oh, this is interesting.
They were coming in so fast, and then I was back here doing more things. It's a little complicated when you're not here, Nico.
I know.
I heard yesterday when you were getting on that lady with the book.
I was interviewing Kat Timpf, who wrote a book, yeah.
He sounded really weak. What'd you say? Don't talk down to me. I mean, if all you got is emotion, and that's how you get the people riled up, it's pretty weak, I think.
This guy, I recognize his name. He's like the original
Cucker.
Yeah, he's the original Smooth Brain and Cucker prototype.
You know, think about your actions, Buzz. If I was management, I'd be canning you quick.
Well, first of all, you. Second of all, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just asking her to clarify why wouldn't you tell somebody, hey, that's racist, or say something if you think it is, which she said the whole Haitians eating cats and dogs is. Last night on Gutfeld, she was sitting there with a mile-wide grin as Donald Trump joined the panel, and I didn't hear any pushback. She asked him about if there are aliens at Area 51, but she didn't call him out. They're still spreading this trope, by the way, the cats and dogs eating, and I have an update. But we have to take a break first. Okay. Let's take a break. We'll come back and have the whole hour ahead of us. More of the Buzz Adams Morning Show's coming up right after this.
Hey, it's Chuck, your host for Loudwire Nights. Tonight at 7, we will rock the borderland with the best rock ever made and the best rock being made. Special guests, birthday and anniversary celebrations, and every night at 10.
Plan. Additional speed, the restrictions apply. Visit att.com/one network for details.
Oh, we're back. Buzz is back.
Hey, right on, Buzz.
Buzz in the Morning Show, 95.5 The Q.
Coming back, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Coming up this Saturday, a free concert at Speaking Rock. Escape the Fate performs this Saturday. We're going to have Rob Ortiz, the drummer, and the only original founding member still in the band, and a native El Paso, an Antigua Indian. Rob Ortiz is going to be on later. We've got Blackstone Cherry coming in a few weeks. That's going to be the Rock House on Saturday, October the 16th. They're going to be on the show. Soul Asylum is playing Lowbrow Palace on Tuesday, October the 15th. They're going to come on the show and play. And then we've got Foreigner and Loverboy coming up at the Pan Am Center at Las Cruces, October the 9th. We will keep you updated on all concerts. And you can keep up to date at KLAQ.com and on the KLAQ mobile app with all the great concerts. But Rob Ortiz later on the show today. All right, time to get to our news headlines. Nico Jimian brings us today's news.
Okay, let's hear it. It begins now.
And here is Nico Jimian with KLAQ News Headlines. Good morning, Nico.
Good morning, Buzz Adams. Good morning, Joanna Barba.
Good morning.
Well, as some expected, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell announced yesterday afternoon that the Fed was reducing its key interest rate by 0.5 percentage point, With the drop, the federal funds rate will move to around 4.8%, the lowest since March of 2023. The Fed also said yesterday it expects more interest rate cuts at its last two meetings of the year in November and December. Here he is making that announcement.
Today, the Federal Open Market Committee decided to reduce the degree of policy restraint by lowering our policy interest rate by a 0.5 percentage point. The unemployment rate has moved up, but remains low at 4.2%. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs to workers gap has narrowed. We understand there's been quite an influx across the borders, and that has actually been one of the things that's allowed unemployment rate to rise. And the other thing is just the slower hiring rate, which is something we also watch carefully.
And personal electronic devices exploded for the second day in a row yesterday in Lebanon, as at least 20 more people were killed and around 450 more people were injured, with walkie-talkies being used by members of the terrorist group Hezbollah, and then they exploded. Hezbollah said in short statements that 16 of its members were killed, with 4 non-members losing their lives in the attack. The Communications Ministry of Lebanon said the devices that exploded yesterday were a discontinued model of walkie-talkies that weren't supplied by a recognized agent.
Yeah, what's going on here? So Hezbollah and Lebanon are claiming that the Israelis are behind it. They haven't denied that they were behind it.
While Israel hasn't officially confirmed its involvement in the attack.
What the hell happened? I didn't touch anything.
Yes, you did.
No, my hands were up.
It went off.
My hands were up
Did
here.
his tummy do it again?
Yes. His tummy
No,
did it again.
that doesn't happen.
Your
That's ridiculous.
Buzz.
It has a mind of its own. It has fingers. Well, like I said, while Israel officials haven't confirmed its involvement in the attacks, several sources have confirmed that the Israeli agency Mossad put them together. The White House said again yesterday that the United States wasn't involved.
All right. Now I'm worried that that's going to be a new form of warfare. And what happens when bad guys put detonators in your new cell phone? Or
no. I mean, that's a ridiculous fear to even state or have, because
why?
because they have been like that. Much less has been used as a bomb.
Yeah, but
since the 9/11 attacks, they've been finding shoe bombs. They've been finding random things. So for you to speculate now and just kind of throw out like a random fear just because Israel is attacking Hezbollah.
Let me be a little more precise then. At some point, they got into the supply chain and they swapped out what were supposed to be harmless beepers,
right,
and put explosive devices in them. If the Israelis can do it, the Chinese can probably do it, or the Iranians could probably do it, and that might be the new horizon of warfare, is blowing up consumer electronics.
Yeah, sure. If American consumer electronics seem to explode at any time soon, and China or a large nation state takes responsibility, I'll be concerned.
Well, not only can it be done, but Nico, now it's also on the table. I mean, if Israel does this and the United States doesn't take the measure of condemning Israel for doing this, I mean, that's kind of saying that that's acceptable in conflict. And
I mean, if laser-guided bombs are acceptable, and
I don't want to have to worry about my toaster blowing up and blowing up the house when I make a piece of toast.
I mean, if you're a terrorist for Hezbollah, maybe you should worry about that.
Okay, yes, I understand. They got some people, members of Hezbollah, but they also got some innocent victims as well.
Remember, this was the same argument during the Obama administration when they were using drones to kill people far away. And they would say, oh, well, now drones are on the table. That means any country could shoot their drone off and then launch a missile direct on your head.
Well, I mean, drones are relatively short range, but there's been a lot of drone warfare going on in Ukraine against Russia.
Right. In places of conflict, I agree.
Don't tell me not to be concerned.
I don't think you have to be concerned about this.
And that's probably what everybody was saying until their cell phones blew up, or their pagers blew up. So it was pagers the first time, and then I bet you every single person who had any kind of pager, if they were smart, got rid of it. And then 2 days later, it was walkie-talkies.
I don't think it signals any fear for Americans. I don't think anybody in the United States needs to be scared
of. It's not a fear, a concern that this could be a developing tactic in non-linear warfare.
What's more concerning is that a security service like Mossad feels it appropriate to plant explosives with such high collateral damage. I just said 11 people were killed, but 450 were injured. I mean, to me, what's more concerning is not the method, because we've known about bombs being able to be placed in any type of thing before. It's the fact that this security service that we are closely aligned with feels so comfortable with civilian deaths. I mean, that to me is just extraordinary. If America had,
I agree with you.
If America, it has nothing to do with the actual fear of something going off. But if America had done anything where 450 people were injured and civilians killed as a result, I mean, we would be crucified across the world for it. All right, moving on.
Yep, moving on.
Well, while the White House said again yesterday it wasn't involved in the attacks, National Security spokesperson John Kirby told reporters, "We were not involved in any way, and I have nothing more to share," which sounds like they might have more to share later. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters made its decision on an endorsement for president yesterday, and leadership announced that the candidate receiving the union support was nobody. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien said in a statement, "Unfortunately, neither major candidate was able to make serious commitments to our union to ensure the interests of working people are always put before big business." The union said yesterday that internal polling of members showed that former President Donald Trump had more support than Vice President Kamala Harris amongst the membership. When asked last night what he thought about the Teamsters declining to endorse somebody, Trump told a reporter that it was an honor that the union wasn't endorsing the other guy. It's crazy that people who work or are part of the union.
Do you want me to play the audio?
No, because it's just Trump. That's the only audio there is.
Saying,
I don't want to hear him say.
Okay,
it's an honor. I mean, I guess you can.
I think the number was like 59% of members of the Teamsters union support Trump. Shouldn't the Teamsters union take a vote among its members, and whoever they want to see elected, that's who they endorse? But Donald Trump has very outwardly been anti-union, pro-management, people making millions a year already. The Teamsters didn't endorse anybody in 96. It was Bill Clinton and Bob Dole in 96. They didn't endorse anybody then either.
They did not.
Yeah.
Atlantic Mayor.
Well, I can see where a union member could be going. Trump is going to put a 200% tariff on Chinese imports. That's going to mean that more work for Americans.
Also, more expensive things from wherever. Well, the Atlantic City Mayor, Marty Small Sr., and his wife, Laketta, have been indicted on child endangerment charges for allegedly beating their teenage daughter on several occasions. The mayor was also charged with assault and making terroristic threats.
The mayor, who's he the mayor of?
Atlantic City.
Oh, Atlantic City, all right.
Did you have a thought on that?
Well, I don't think I got what's it called? Corporal punishment?
Corporal. Corporal punishment.
When I didn't get a spanking after about the age of, 13. It was probably the last time my parents
whipped your
gave
butt.
me swats, but definitely I got them.
Well, I'm just
wondering if these people did anything worse than what my parents did.
I thought you were going to say, Atlantic City. That's not surprising. Or Atlantic City. That is surprising.
No.
Isn't it like a mob-run city?
It was in Boardwalk Empire.
That's why I'm bringing that up.
But that was set in the 19 teens. But yeah, I don't know that much. I've never been there, and I don't know that much about it.
Speaker Mike Johnson's plan to fund the federal government failed in the House yesterday. To nobody's surprise, the House voted down his proposal to keep the government funded through March 28th. And just 11 days from now, the government will shut down. U.S. passports can now be renewed online. The State Department took a major step forward in terms of the process for renewing passports yesterday. You can now do it online. Tupperware files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company that's been helping you keep leftovers fresh in the fridge is in trouble. They reported over $1 billion in debt.
Gosh.
The Tupperware people. And businesses in Springfield, Ohio are still getting bomb threats because of rumors about immigrants. Yesterday, local police evacuated 2 Walmart stores, just yesterday, and 2 Kroger locations as the city faces the ongoing backlash from rumors about Haitians eating dogs.
So can I have a moment to update this story?
Please.
Okay. So J.D. Vance, the vice presidential candidate, is still pumping this story, and he offered as proof a police report. They shared a police report this week that detailed a Springfield, Ohio resident's claim that her cat mysteriously vanished, and she thought it was taken by her Haitian neighbors. It turns out that the missing cat, named Miss Sassy, was in the basement the whole time. Her owner, Anna Kilgore, told the Wall Street Journal that her cat had somewhat shorter. She was hiding in the basement and reemerged a few days after she reported to police that she thought the Haitian neighbors had taken her cat. So I kept saying about this eating cats and dogs story, they're going to find some scrap. There has to be some grain of truth. Nobody would just make this completely up. And it turns out that this is it. Miss Sassy, Anna Kilgore, who, when she was on TV being interviewed, was wearing a Trump hat and T-shirt, says that she apologized to her Haitian neighbors
through a text, a speech-to-text app to translate. And I wonder if she was wearing her Trump getup while she was apologizing.
Miss Sassy, by the way, described as being a Maine Coon.
Oh, wow.
Joanna?
Those are big ones, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
I've learned about cats just so Joanna and I can have an intelligent conversation about cats.
Yeah, it looks, I mean, at this point, it looks like this is thoroughly debunked, but as of a couple of days ago, as of yesterday, J.D. Vance was still putting this out there into the atmosphere.
Well,
and they've got a bunch of bomb threats now, and a bunch of Haitian parents are just keeping their kids home from school because they don't feel safe.
Schools, universities, and government offices have all been targeted with bomb threats in just 1 week. Schools are going to online only during the crisis right now. Tonight, former GOP presidential candidate
Cucker called in with I guess an excuse. All of those bomb threats were hoaxes. Well, what did you want? Them to actually blow up a school before you would condemn this, let's face it, horrifically racist lie?
Well, I think what he said was those all came from overseas. They proved that 33 of those bomb threats.
It doesn't matter where they come from.
It does not matter whatsoever.
They're basing it off what's being put out there into the atmosphere by people like J.D. Vance and his running mate Donald Trump. You don't make a point off of that. Yeah, thank God none of them were actual bomb threats.
Well, the saddest part is that J.D. Vance and the Trump campaign actually spoke with the Springfield city manager before the debate and asked if the rumors were true. And when he denied them and said, no, they're not true, both Vance and Trump still talked about it anyways.
Let's get a break in here. We also have our late night roundup, which Joanna works on before the show ever airs. Here it is, a recap of highlights and funniest moments from late night television.
According to new research, sitting all day can cause dead butt syndrome. And you really want to diagnose that early because once it dies, your butt starts to smell.
Are looking for 2 people who allegedly got onto an empty subway train at a station in Queens, took it for a joyride, and then crashed it. Police say this may be the first ever case of someone experiencing joy on the subway.
Well, switching gears, I saw that a man in California just discovered that he's accidentally been paying his neighbor's power bill for 18 years. The guy was like, I didn't know. And his neighbor was like, yes, I also didn't know.
Hey, it's Double G. Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show.
Their entire Don't miss Striper. Visit El Paso Live for tickets and more information. Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vias, and Interman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
All right, Nico, before we get back into the rest of the news, there's an update here. Somebody deleted their endorsement of former President Trump after he misgendered them.
Was it Jam?
It was Nicky Jam.
Yeah.
Who's a recording artist. That's a dude. Joanna, do you have... I guess he endorsed Donald Trump, and Donald Trump introduced him at one of his rallies, but misgendered Nicky J. I guess Nicky's one of those names like it's Pat. It could be a guy or a girl, right?
Sure, or Leslie.
So here was Donald Trump introducing the male recording artist Nicky Jam.
Latin music superstar Nicky Jam. Do you know Nicky? She's hot. Where's Nicky?
Jam deleted his endorsement after that event at a Trump rally. It doesn't say if he still endorses Trump, but he deleted his endorsement of that.
I think probably
because everybody was
the
making
comment
fun
section.
of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "What
Everyone
up, Nicky?"
kept saying, he called you a girl.
If I were asked who Nicky Jam was, I would not, before yesterday, have had any idea if it's a male or female. I'll just be honest with you. But if I was introducing Nicky Jam on stage in front of a bunch of people, I would at least look up enough bio information to know if it was a man or a woman.
Oh, you know he doesn't do that.
Here's one comment. Trump thought you were a girl. He didn't even take the time to look you up, and you're here kissing his toes. All right, back to the news, Nico. What else do you have in the news?
Back to the news. Well, Kentucky highway shooter's body may have been found. You know that shooter?
Yeah. He was on the lam for a long time, unless he was dead the entire time, I guess.
Well, the body of Kentucky I-75 shooting suspect Joseph Couch has apparently been located. Officials said yesterday they have found a body that they believe is that of Couch's near where the shooting happened. Now he's been on the run ever since he shot 5 people in Laurel County last weekend. Officials said 2 state troopers and 2 civilians were searching the woods yesterday when they ran into each other and ended up finding the body. The troopers saw vultures flying above where the body would be found, which led them to the scene. I guess they still have to do some confirmation because maybe they couldn't tell just from looking at him.
Yeah, maybe some animals got a hold of him, made identification. You know, they want to be extra sure before they say one way or the other. They canceled some classes last week because this guy was still out on the loose.
Did they?
Yeah, some schools in the area, just out of abundance of caution, canceled classes. Well, go ahead. I was going to play a call. It's either the best satire I've heard in a while or the dumbest argument having to do with the
Haitian immigrants.
The Haitian immigrants.
Let's hear it.
Once again, I can't tell if this is superb satire or just an extremely dumb comment.
Hello. I just wanted to say something about the whole Haitians eating dogs and cats and pets. I mean, it seems like this is just an everyday topic now, and it shouldn't be.
Well, you could talk to J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, and maybe they could apologize for saying it and not say it anymore.
Well, it's an everyday topic because the people in Springfield are getting attacked and having
all kinds of threats
to them every day still.
Shouldn't even be a Trump issue because if it wasn't for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris letting all the immigrants into the border, millions, even Haitians, then this wouldn't even be an issue. So, bottom line, and it's Joe Biden and Kamala's fault that this story.
So in his voice, I can't tell. Is this supposed to be poking fun?
Or right,
at Trump supporters, or
are
is
you
this
being
like
sarcastic?
Honestly, I can't tell, folks. At this point, I cannot tell your satire from your sincerely held beliefs.
Who knows anymore?
Well, just so everybody out there listening, the Haitians in Springfield specifically are not there because they crossed the border. They're there as refugees from the Haitian Civil War.
And they're not illegal. J.D. Vance says they're illegal even if they're legal. But they were given, it's called temporary protected status.
Right.
Which is what they have because of violent political upheaval in Haiti.
It would have happened under President Trump or Biden.
I'm not, if that's satire, dude, well done. If that's what you really think, you're an idiot. And nobody should ever listen to you.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Our mini moon, finally. If you look up to the night skies between...
I will call it mini moon.
Yes, you should. If you look up to the night skies between September 29th and November 25th, you may see a tiny second moon. Astronomers say that 2024 PT5, which is what scientists think is an asteroid, but have dubbed a mini moon, will be looping around Earth.
How big is it?
32 feet wide. That's pretty big. 32 feet.
32 feet. I'm just trying to put it, you know, how Americans do. You compare it to the size of something.
Right?
Yeah, that would be the width is about the equivalent of a 3-story building.
Yes. And you'll probably need a telescope to see the second moon.
Pass. I've been meaning to get a telescope, though. I spend so much time in my backyard just looking at stars. I want to get I don't want to get like an Arecibo style telescope, but I want to get a pretty good one anyway.
Would you get a digital one that you could use your phone with, or are you?
I would get one where it's just like, hey, telescope, find Beetlejuice for me. Well, I'm sure they got those like smart telescopes.
Definitely.
And all you got to do is put your eye to the peephole.
Mm-hmm.
That's how dumb I am.
The object will eventually break free from Earth's gravitational pull and be on its merry way, but it will be hanging around our moon and Earth for at least 2 months.
Hey, for the month of October, we've got 2 moons up there. And if that isn't a creepy thought for the month of Halloween,
that's kind of cool, right?
Sweet.
And First Lady Jill Biden is hosting a West Wing cast reunion at the White House tomorrow. I know. It's the 25th anniversary of the NBC show's premiere, which ran from 1999 to 2006. Remember these dates, guys. 1999 to 2006. Cast members including Martin Sheen, Allison Janney, Dule Hill, Janelle Maloney, and Richard Schiff also appeared at the Emmys earlier this week. They will be on hand at the White House event along with creator, executive producer Aaron Sorkin, Emily Proctor, Melissa Fitzgerald, and Mary McCormick. Sheen, who played President Jed Bartlett in the show, also met with President Biden last month during a visit to the White House. Now, I've been watching the West Wing, the whole series for about the past month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I've started at the beginning. I do it like once a year. I was telling Buzz, there's a couple series that I watch regularly through like once a year. Star Trek are the other ones. But the West Wing, Joanna.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more fictional than possible. Like the president talks about honor and standing up for morality and principles like the Constitution. And
wow, I wonder what that's like.
I know. That's so phony.
That's so
That
unbelievable.
is so unbelievable. And then they talk about issues like school vouchers and school prayer.
Yeah,
and like,
rip from the headline type of stuff.
And healthcare. All these things that we don't even talk about anymore.
Now we talk about crowd size.
You're right. Like they're talking about actual issues and like, oh my God, he accidentally misspoke. Should we like write a press release to cover it? And it's like, dude, if you only knew,
just double down, double down, and then.
If you only knew in 20 years, you wouldn't have to correct anything you say.
Right.
Like wacky.
You're just in the back, like, just wait.
Just wait with my popcorn.
You were telling me like some of the issues that were top of mind when West Wing was on was like a constitutional amendment banning flag burning, for instance.
A constitutional amendment banning
whether
flag
gays
burning.
should be allowed to get married.
Oh, the whole thing about gays, like people apparently were not gay friendly even in 1999.
No. I mean, that was like one of those real tipping point things. It's like if you went back 30 years, you would find very few people who would say that gay people should be allowed to get, same-sex marriage. And, at some point it just gets where the majority feel like, yeah, I guess they should be allowed to get married. But that was ruled in Obergefell by the Supreme Court.
It was, yeah.
I got a call about your science story there.
Oh, cool.
To quote the great Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's no moon.
It's a space station.
There's going to be a space station, not an asteroid. All right, finally, my last story.
Okay.
If you want a table at suburban Denver's Casa Bonita restaurant, you may have to wait a year or two. It was recently reopened by South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. The reservation list opened Monday with 40,000 members of the so-called Founders Club in a virtual queue, followed by nearly 30,000 people in the general queue in the afternoon. The restaurant closed because of the pandemic in 2021. It was then bought by Parker and Stone, who chronicled the restaurant adventure in the documentary Casa Bonita Mi Amor. We can't eat there for 2 years, Buzz.
I found out, and my friend told me this, I guess Casa Bonita was a chain. When we were kids, we had one in Tulsa.
Did it have the cliff divers and everything too?
No, I mean, it was in Tulsa, so it had to be like a big event to go and eat out in Tulsa.
Casa Bonita. Casa Bonita.
Cool. Yeah, I don't remember cliff divers. I just remember, and my friend Jeff had to remind me, yeah, that was Casa Bonita, just like the one in Denver. So
I'll see you there in 2 years with the news. Nico.
Let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back. Steve might be joining us this morning. Also, Rob Ortiz, the drummer from Escape the Fate. They're playing a free show Saturday at Speaking Rock Entertainment. Gates and doors open at 6 o'clock on Saturday for Escape the Fate. And we will be talking to Rob Ortiz coming up a little bit later. More of the Buzz Adams Morning Show headed your way right after this.
Hey, it's Daniel Paulus. I'll be along starting at 3 with everything from GNR to STP.
Oh, that's friendbills.com. And while you're there, check out our special promotions. Tell them Joe Lumber sent you.
I want you to hear what this fool is saying.
And now, the big mouth of the border.
This is a whole other level.
Whole other level of insane.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show is back.
I forgot that I had blocked Javier. Like his stuff just got so tiring and vaguely threatening that I just blocked his emails. But he does go back. I mean, it's almost like a family member. He's such a keen listener of the Buzz Adams Morning Show.
Or an old flame, maybe.
Hey, Buzz. Mm-hmm. You blocked me about 3 years ago. How could I email you? And you also said that I threatened you. It's just annoying because it's hypocritical that you always bash on the big divider, the great, divider this and divider that. And you can't even have a decent conversation with somebody.
Okay. Yeah, you were going to clients and saying that I should be pulled off the air because I disagreed with you politically. So who's a big
D-bag?
PP diaper boy? You can't have a decent conversation. Yeah, while you're trying to organize a boycott, but you listen every day, get your head examined.
It always gets personal.
Yeah, it does.
It always get insulting.
I love it when these MAGA people call in and complain about somebody being mean to them. They'll defend anything the big divider says, but don't you dare criticize him.
I invite you to post up my emails on any public platform.
Yeah, you would love that. I'm not going to. In fact, the reason you're calling the neckline is because I blocked your emails because they got a little creepy, man. I mean, he was, let me go back and find him. I think I blocked him about 3 years ago. It's the only person I think I've ever blocked.
Pop me up, please.
Hold on, let me play this one real quick.
Oh, it might be the same one.
Javier sounds like a snowflake little bee. I'm going to go to the commercials they play so that I'm going to not listen to Buzz anymore. And I'm not going to buy their product like a little snowflake. Man up, man. Man the fuck.
Oh, hey now. Come on. Hey, let's watch it then. Yeah. They go running for a safe space. They want a trigger warning. But everybody else are the snowflakes. Understood. I got it. Got a couple of important things to tell you. And then Joanna has the Hollywood Cheese Bay. Dining deals. We got one that starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and it's for a legendary barbecue joint, Tony's The Pit Barbecue, which has been open in El Paso since 1958.
Delicious.
And it's at 1700 Myrtle Avenue. They've been in that location since 1968. Family owned and operated for 3 generations. And at 10 o'clock this morning, you'll have the opportunity to get $50 food certificates for just $25, and you can get 2 of them. You can get up to 2 of them. So for only $50, you could get $100 worth of food at Tony's, The Pit Barbecue at 1700 Myrtle Avenue. You can take advantage of this dining deal tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if you want to know how to do it, go to KLAQ.com and click Dining Deals on the must-read bar or on the KLAQ mobile app where they've got a Dining Deals button too. This is the last open casting call for the KLAQ Haunted Houses of Terror. So I found out everybody that's been auditioning the past couple of weeks, there's one tonight. Okay. That's the final one. And the guy, did you see the truck out front?
Did that scare anybody else this morning?
I thought that was a big MAGA truck, like with flags on it and stuff, but it's the haunted house truck.
It scared the hell out of me.
I just saw it with all this stuff on it, but it's the Haunted Houses of Terror truck.
It looked like a person just standing there.
I almost crashed. I didn't see a person.
There's like
there's a person hanging from the...
Yeah, but it's a dummy.
Oh, it's a dummy, but it scared me.
At 6 in the morning in the dark, it doesn't look like that.
Could have used a little heads up there, guys.
I almost crashed because of it.
We're going to have 2 haunted houses, but they've been telling everybody who's auditioned so far that they'll be in touch on September 20th, which is tomorrow. So I guess this will be the last audition call.
Yes. Drew, my cousin, go to it.
He wants to be in it?
He was asking me about it, and I was like, you just have to go, I think.
The haunted houses open September 27th. So that's a week from today. And we're going to have 2 of them at 13900 Montana Boulevard. There's going to be another haunted house at 2155 Joe Battle. So
what do you need to do if you want to audition?
Okay, so the casting call is this afternoon at 6 o'clock at Desert Warriors Paintball, 13900 Montana.
So you just need to show up?
You can show up at 6 o'clock, or if you want more information, maybe you can't make it at that time, call 915-502-3968. They can give you more information. Look, you earn a little extra seasonal cash. You got Christmas coming up.
You scare kids.
And it is fun as hell. That's what I was mainly going to say. It's fun making people scream and, get their money's worth. The KLAQ Haunted Houses of Terror are brought to you by Western Tech, Burnout Bullies, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, and War Eagles. Proudly produced and managed by Desert Warriors Paintball. And again, that is 6 o'clock today at Desert Warriors Paintball, 13900 Montana Avenue. Or you can call 915-502-3968.
Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Maze. Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Maze. Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Maze. Joanna, tell us more.
Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Saturday Night Live has set its first batch of hosts for season 50.
I seen some.
Hosting for her first time, Jean Smart will open the season on September 28th with musical guest Jelly Roll, followed by an October 5th episode hosted by Nate Bargatze, featuring songs from Coldplay. What? Did I say that wrong?
No. Okay, so Nate Bargatze is one of my favorite comics. I think he's hilarious.
Fantastic, and he hosted last year, and I hate to say it because I thought he was kind of a dick to me.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze was also one of the worst interviews we've ever had.
You want to know something funny? I hear from a lot of listeners who are like, I hate Nate Bargatze now because of that interview that he did with us.
But then they had him as the host of Saturday Night Live, and he was phenomenal. He was so good. I was like, well, I kind of want to hate the guy because he was a dick to me. But on the other hand, he did a really good job hosting SNL. So who else?
He will be on October 5th. Ariana Grande will host for the second time on October 12th with musical guest Stevie Nicks.
I'm glad she's having a musical guest. I don't like it when the host is the musical guest.
I
It's
don't
too much.
either. Yeah, that's weird. Michael Keaton will visit Studio 88 on October 19th with musical guest Billie Eilish, and John Mulaney will host on November 2nd with first-timer Chappell Roan as musical guest.
John Mulaney has become a go-to for Saturday Night Live. How many skits do you think they'll recruit Jelly Roll to be in for the first episode? I say at least
one.
Okay, so he's got his 2 musical spots. He's going to be at least one. I'll predict it's going to be one of the Please Don't Destroy videos. You know, the 3 nerd writers that have their own. They're kind of like the
Lonely Island.
They're kind of like the Lonely Island. Yeah, I think that's where Jelly Roll's.
I can't wait. I love Jelly Roll.
And when is the first new episode? The one with Gene Smart?
September 28th. Gene Smart and Jelly Roll.
Sorry, Downshift Brewery. I got to be home. No, I'm just kidding. I can do both. Oktoberfest and watching the season premiere.
Go Buzz. I believe in you.
What recent thing in the news will they do the cold open about? Will it be people
Haitians eating dogs?
The Haitians eating dogs and cats? Is that what it's going to be? Childless cat ladies?
Maybe
they get Taylor on.
Maybe
to
they
do a
bring
cameo,
back
right?
Kate McKinnon. That'd be great.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. All right. Looking forward to
Predictions begin September 28th. Dave Bautista, the WWE legend turned Hollywood actor, has always been known for his muscular physique. However, recent photos have sparked concern among fans.
He's tiny.
As he appears significantly leaner than he once was.
It means you quit doing steroids.
The actor detailed his 75-pound weight loss on Insight with Chris Van Vliet last week, explaining that he was 315 pounds after filming Knock at the Cabin Door. Since the former professional, who is 55, put on the weight really fast, he says that he felt uncomfortably big, so he turned to fasting and calorie cutting to slim down. He also clarified that his decision to slim down was not related to any health concerns and that he's definitely not starving himself despite fans' worries.
Listen, I saw Batista in a Speedo. So
really?
And yeah, in
why are you looking up photos of Batista?
No, he
in
was.
Speedos?
Come on, babe. Why are you doing that?
Glass Onion, the sequel to
In a
Knives
Speedo?
Out. Yeah, he's in a Speedo.
I gotta watch
He's
that.
not carrying around 75 pounds of fat. That was 75 pounds of muscle.
Oh, woof, muscle.
Yeah.
Did you just bark?
Yeah. He makes me bark. Batista shared that a primary motivation behind his weight loss was his desire to avoid being visually distracting in his roles. Known for his larger-than-life presence, especially from his days in WWE, Batista expressed that being excessively muscular could distract from his on-screen performances.
It didn't seem to have my career in me.
All right.
All right, Arnold.
Eric, yes.
The pictures of him this weekend, I think he was on a red carpet, and that's where a lot of people noticed him. Yeah, he looks significantly smaller. Did you see those pictures?
No. But I know
his head hasn't gotten smaller, though.
I went to college with, right, so he looks like a bobblehead, right?
Yeah, a little.
I went to college with Brian Bosworth, and Brian Bosworth was a beast. And then they had him doing some TV announcing after he was done in the NFL, which didn't last very long. And he had shrunk, and it was because he'd quit doing steroids.
Oh, my God.
But let me say this. Dave Bautista is actually a really, really good actor. The best.
Yeah.
And
I
actor.
liked
He can
Knock at the Cabin Door.
Yeah, it was suspenseful. I liked it, too.
Eric Roberts has had a complicated relationship with his sister, Julia Roberts. Some of that had to do with substance abuse, but jealousy also played a huge part. Roberts once claimed responsibility for his sister's career, and now he's publicly retracting that statement. In his new memoir, Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far, the prolific character actor apologizes to his sister, for saying that he made her famous. In the book, Roberts writes, quote, "Now, one of the things I'd like to apologize for in this book is for publicly saying on more than one occasion, if it wasn't for me, there would be no Julia Roberts. That's not only unfortunate, but it's also untrue, and I hope Julie will accept this more public apology. It was an asinine thing to have said. I was proud of her, but it was a pride turned on its head to my own advantage." Eric adds that his sister is, quote, a very driven woman, and someone would have plucked her out of the crowd without any of his help.
Wait. So they are estranged just because Eric Roberts had a little bit of bigger ego than
So
Julia?
apparently in the book, he goes into more detail. He moved to Manhattan first, then Julia Roberts. Julie is what they call her, by the way. Julie. And she followed him, but he had a substance abuse problem. And he was kind of mean to her and to their other sister. And then on more than one occasion, he did say,
she's only a big star because of me.
Right.
Yeah.
Aww.
And so they've had a very complicated relationship.
We're going to have Eric Roberts on in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we are. Eric Roberts' memoir, Runaway Train, or The Story of My Life So Far, is available now.
Speaking of Runaway Train, we're going to have Soul Asylum.
Hey! After years of discussion and development, the sequel to The Passion of the Christ is reportedly slated to begin filming in early 2025.
Oh, awesome. I've always wanted to see a sequel to this. I didn't know the rest of the story.
According to Italian...
You thought he was gone, but he's back. JC returns.
Now
Crucify this.
It picks up 3 days later.
It's going to start with 3 days later. According to Italian news, Mel Gibson is currently in Malta with a production team to scout potential filming locations for The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, which will feature Jim Caviezel returning to play Jesus.
Well, Jim Caviezel's got to be in his 50s by now.
Yeah.
Jesus was 33 when he died. It's going to be hard to believe.
A little, maybe.
Maybe this is an alternate history thing. Like, what if he didn't get
die.
crucified?
What if he continued to live until 55? The Passion of the Christ, which premiered in 2004, earned over $600 million at the box office and received 3 Oscar nominations. Since then, Gibson has expressed interest in continuing the story, and the script has reportedly undergone multiple drafts and revisions. In a 2022 interview, Gibson described the sequel film as a non-linear narrative set in the past and in other realms, and getting into a little sci-fi. This led to speculation that The Passion of the Christ Resurrection would potentially include a depiction of Jesus' time in hell.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I was actually thinking that. What if it shows when he goes down to hell to confront Satan? Because that's
He
in the
does
Bible.
that?
In the Bible,
In
he
the
does
Bible.
that. Yeah.
I didn't know he went to hell. I thought
That's the
that's
story
where he
they
went
never
after
tell
the
you.
crucifixion. He went to hell. Also, Satan had tried to tempt him right before the crucifixion, and they didn't. I don't think they showed that one in Passion of the Christ.
I think they did.
Oh, did they? They showed him out in the desert, and the devil was like, "I will make you that." Yeah, they did.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a desert thing. I thought they were out in the desert.
Well, finally, Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail at his appeal hearing in Manhattan yesterday and will remain in custody after a district judge deemed him a danger and a flight risk.
You mean P. Diddler?
P. Diddler. Combs appeared in court following his arrest on Monday in New York City when he was subsequently charged on 3 counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. During the bail appeal hearing, prosecutors reiterated points from the indictment that he drugged victims and filmed them during freak-offs or days-long orgies, using the footage as blackmail. They claim that 6 guns were seized from his property and that the head of his security has been served with a subpoena.
Well, if you're going to mention the 6 guns, don't forget to mention the 1,000 bottles of lube.
No.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
That's used on the body, sir. All right.
Which a brothel would like to remind you, baby oil is not good lube.
Right.
Don't do that.
Apparently, they also bought lubricant. That was
There were like 6 bottles of lube,
Yeah.
but amongst a sea of baby oil.
1,000 bottles of baby oil with 0 babies in sight. Something's fishy.
Okay, wait. Have you guys took any deep dive into this yet?
No.
Okay.
Just enough to give you this entertainment
Let me
news.
tell you guys, it gets wild. And Rosie O'Donnell has a part to play in this
Well, with your
story.
entertainment news, I'm Joanna Barba.
You don't become a hip-hop mogul, a fashion icon, or a vodka baron without being pretty slick. Introducing Diddy Lube.
Entering for play while in a three-way.
Oh my God.
For the love you make, grease up your snake with some Diddy Lube.
Diddy Lube, Diddy Lube, and P. Diddy Lube. Your Sean John deserves the best. Diddy Lube. For chicks or dudes, lube your tube with Diddy Lube.
I'm Daniel Paulus, and whether you're wrapping up your workday
Or in our unforgettable prizes, food and other surprises from 5 to 9 at TEK Motorsports, 8600 Gateway East. See you there.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Enderman Personal Injury Lawyers. At GVILaw.com.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
I've got a couple of stories here, and both of the stories that I have picked out involve former first ladies of the United States. So I'll have that coming up in just a second.
Joanna, what was the engagement question you put up? Was that you? Were you the one that I saw in a question that was like, if there's a horror movie series you'd want to, if we put on
a movie marathon, what franchise should we watch?
And you were like, Twilight, anybody?
And anybody wants to do Twilight? That'd be fun.
Some of the responses were great.
Oh, good.
I haven't seen the two most recent Human Centipedes, so.
So all two of them?
There's only two.
No, there was a third.
Is there a third?
Tremors.
There was?
I think there's like 7 Tremors, though, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of Tremors.
Somebody said Bang Bus 1, 2, and 3.
Not in Texas anymore.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. What horror movie series?
It's hilarious. It must have been top of her mind because I walk in there and she's
watching Twilight.
We got the news. No, she wasn't watching Twilight. She was watching Child's Play 3.
I'm not watching Child's Play 3. It
happens to be on in the background, right?
We had this discussion the other day. Why don't you have the news on in case something huge happens in the news? And Joanna's position is...
Well, you have the news on in there, too.
Yeah, so. Right. Yeah, if anything big is going on, we don't want to miss it.
Yeah, but she's like, that's why she has entertainment on.
I'm on entertainment.
Right.
Good
she's
point,
on,
Nico.
Yeah, entertainment watch.
When you move over to this studio,
no Child's
the news
Play
is going to
3?
be on.
We'll have Child's Play.
Somebody asked online, what's a daily inconvenience that you still can't believe hasn't been solved?
You.
And people answered, a daily inconvenience. How have they not solved this yet?
Traffic. Like, people told me we would have flying cars by now, and yet somehow traffic is still a thing.
Well, they make flying cars. They just don't have the infrastructure. I mean, if you're up in the air, somebody's going to have, you got to have air traffic control.
I'm just saying, when I was younger, I feel like we talked a lot more about the future and how things were going to be a certain way. Like, I'm sure when you were growing up in the 50s or 40s or whatever, like, didn't they have the World of Tomorrow or Futureland or something?
Yeah.
Well, they had the Jetsons, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And they had flying cars.
Yeah, where the hell is my Rosie?
And where's my Rosie the robot with that big old junk in the trunk button?
Like, I almost don't see any media portraying the future of what they think 20 years from now will be like, or 30 years will be like from now. And certainly flying cars is not a part of that.
Just watch Terminator and Matrix, probably.
All that sounds great and dandy, but as I got older, I realized that my main inconvenience is there has to be a better way to open bacon packages.
I just get scissors out and just
God, I hate it so much.
They come with the self-sealing thing, but that's so hard to get open. Most of the time, I end up just cutting the top off with the scissors.
Literally, somebody out there fix those bacon packages.
All right, here's what somebody else says. What is an inconvenience you think they would have solved by now? It should be easier to clean the inside of a windshield. All right?
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Somebody said mammograms. Now, like half of the audience probably can't relate, but the person who posted this says the machine feels like a medieval torture device. Surely there's something less painful.
Yeah, they flatten them.
Wait, you're talking about Mammograms?
Mammograms, yeah.
I mean, I can do those for you for free if you need.
Somebody wrote, and I have a little something to go along with this one. Elevators need an option to press a floor button a second time to cancel. Have you ever pushed the wrong button?
I've seen little kids push all of them at once, and you're like, "Oh."
So
I might have been that little kid.
I stayed at a hotel in Houston, near where all the medical stuff is, MD Anderson, all that stuff. So you go to where the elevators are, and you enter on a digital touch screen what floor you want to go to. And then it tells you what elevator is, the B elevator. So you go to the B elevator. Once you're in there, you don't have to push anything. It's already taking you to the floor that you entered. And guess what? It was a pretty big hotel, and we didn't wait as long as I would have expected for a hotel that size on the elevator.
Fancy.
Somebody says dust accumulation. Forget AI. I need a gadget that sucks dust particles from the air before they get to settle on every surface in the home.
How is so much dust accumulating in like a week?
Okay, I think that has to do with living in El Paso, because I, for a little bit of time, was in this phase where I had to have my room completely dusted like all the time. Wow. And it would get accumulated. I was living at Buzz's and there's just so much dust anyways. But it would accumulate so fast that at some point it's like, what's the point of dusting anymore? There is no point in El Paso.
I'm at that point at that time of year where I'm like, that's just Halloween decoration now. I'm not dusting.
I don't get this one because I don't cook, but maybe some people out there do. So inconvenience you think they would have figured out by now. There has to be a better way to package flour.
Flour's another good one, yeah.
I guess. What's the problem with that? A little bit like falls out when you...
Oh, like
it's just in a sack. It's like in a paper sack.
Yeah, and some of it falls out.
And then when you open it, like there's just flour everywhere.
Yeah, flour dust.
Then I got to dust twice.
All right.
Toilets should be able to be self-cleaning. I bet you
I
bet you there are high-end toilets, if you weren't afraid of spending 10 or 20 grand, that would clean themselves.
Yeah, it's the fear of spending that much that's stopping me.
So a couple of stories. Michelle Obama, this says here, was spotted
Costco
at, I was skeptical of this, but I looked it up and I guess it's true. She was at a Costco selling her drink, her new health drink, Plezi. It's described also as a soft drink, but Michelle Obama was the kids need to eat healthier. I mean, if you're going to promote anything, wouldn't you just be better off promoting water? It's not like you need the money. And then I put on the video, and it shows who appears to be Michelle Obama, and I thought, no, this is just going to be a lady who bears a resemblance because her hair is very different. So you ready? I was like, no, this has got to be fake news. I sourced it to at least a dozen sources who say that Michelle Obama was at a Costco selling her soft drink. Does it look like Michelle Obama to you? Yeah, I guess that's her.
Her hair's a little different. But she has Secret Service agents in front of her.
Yeah. I like it when the former first family stays out of the limelight as much as possible. I can't say I'm overjoyed about this, but she's got a big crowd gathered around her. And people have been wondering, where has Melania Trump been? Melania Trump hasn't said a lot recently, but she does have a memoir called Melania that's coming out on October 1st.
What are the chances she wrote that whole thing?
I don't think anybody, everybody's got a ghostwriter. If not a ghostwriter, a co-author. It's just standard. But Melania was vocal yesterday. She took to social media to defend her past as a nude model.
Oh.
And she had a bunch of pictures of great works of art that have nudity, like a Botticelli or Michelangelo's David and so forth.
I saw Riley Reid and Lisa Ann making the same arguments.
Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling work? The more pressing question is, why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot? Are we no longer able to appreciate the beauty of the human body? Throughout history, master artists have revered the human shape, evoking profound emotions and admiration. We should honor our bodies and embrace the timeless tradition of using art as a powerful means of self-expression.
Wait a minute. If you were nude, how was it a fashion shoot? For a fashion shoot, don't you wear clothes?
Maybe it was for shoes.
I remember,
jewelry.
It was that high-class fashion magazine, Maxim. She did a photo shoot for.
I think she did Playboy.
If she did, I tried to look it up just to know what I was talking about, but there were all these deep fakes, It was just like going to a lot of really weird places, but some of them are kind of homoerotic. It's her and another lady kind of wrestling around. And I just asked myself, if after Obama was elected, it came out that his wife had done some nude modeling for Maxim magazine, do you think these people would have been cool with it, or would they have been hollering like a stuck pig for 8 years about it? I say.
Oh, she's done GQ nude as well.
No, GQ doesn't do nude.
She is, yeah.
She might be mostly nude.
No, she's nude. You don't see her nipples or her genitals, but like she's completely naked in the pictures.
A lot of ass shots is what I saw.
Completely bare. She's on a fur rug.
Yeah, I've seen that one before. Okay, well, I'm just saying, what would your reaction?
This one has her nip shown.
Yeah. You notice Hillary never posed nude for fashion magazines.
I also have never heard a porn star really be like, why do you focus on my porn and not really think of it as
the
like
beauty of the art? Well,
Yeah.
she's not. Let's be clear here. There's no evidence that Melania Trump ever did porn except for softcore. Maybe a little softcore porn.
Hello, it is Melania Trump. And as you know, I am very proud of my naked modeling pictures. That's why I'm proud to introduce the Naked Melania 2005 wall calendar. Every month with a new picture of me being in the total nude. And let's take a look. July. It is 4th of American July and I totally naked. Talk about fireworks. And guess where the sparkler is? You like it? Yes, you do. All 11 months, I have a naked picture of me. That's right, 11 months. There is no December because December has the Christmas. I don't like the Christmas. Get the Naked Melania 2025 wall calendar. I am standing by waiting for your order. And yes, I am in the nudes. Order now.
Show is done.
Are we done here?
We are done here.
I'd like to discuss this further, but I gotta go.
It's been real, and it's been fun, and it's been real fun.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
The morning show will be back tomorrow at 6.